No. Skynet's been upgraded.
Zoya, what's going on?
Alexei! Come on, anyone, do you copy? Nox, confirm your position.
The deal is clear. I'll help you remove your relink and escape Havoc. But first, you infiltrate the Skynet terminal and restore our comms. Respond immediately.
I'm in position. All clear.
Find the terminal. Alright?
Welcome home. While unsuccessful compatibilities to rebuild has been astonishing. You are truly one of a kind. Don't resist. Embrace.
Get out of my head!
Find him! Go!
Let's spread a little panic.
We've got you surrounded! Enemy over here!
What's your status? Have you found the terminal?
We've been set up. The server room's empty.
I was right. You're still the best. I knew you'd come back. But here's the truth. It's not Havoc that needs you. It's you that needs Havoc. We are the future.
Alright then. Let's see how you do.
So, Kushti, you ain't seen nothing yet. I've got an ace in the hole.
We're not done here.
Did you really think we're just here to play cards? Like I said, I've got an ace in the hole.
Find the terminal.
Your compatibility really appeals me.
Billy de Montbel. Call sign Nox, assault operator. Trained by Havoc, Nox is a seasoned mercenary with rich experience. As a man of few words who prefers to operate independently, his collaboration with GTI is a product of necessity rather than a choice. Specializing in information disruption with proficiency in various combat techniques, he excels in stealth operations. Like a cold dagger, he exposes vulnerabilities in enemy defenses to strike at their throats. Nox's tactical equipment, Silent Assault, consists of an information jammer and sonic jammer. When activated, the disruptors emit sonic interference waves, minimizing Nox's sound propagation and the alert range of enemies. While this interference is in effect, Enemy recon tools are unable to pinpoint Nox's exact location.
Allied forces are engaging an objective further.
Man's fear of darkness is imprinted in our genes. In the absence of light, we become prey, hunted by nameless dangers and unknown fears.
Where do you think Havoc's boss went?
Dead, probably.
Then who's paying their soldiers? Who's there?
We try to seek solace by the faint light of fire.
Where is that noise from?
But a deal was made with the dark. And the darkness became a weapon. There's no waiting for the protection of dawn. A winner must be crowned tonight.
Hostiles detected.
Well, good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome into the Delta Force Burst or Break Operation Challenge. I'm going to be your host today. My name is Goj, and it's good to be back. I feel like I've been gone for a long time. We did like 8 events last week, and we are already back here a couple days later. Really excited about this competition. More operations here with Delta Force. We're all going to have a ton of fun. Now, folks, I've got to remind you, as per the usual, before we get started, you got to go download Delta Force right now. You can get it on just about every single platform you can think of. Take a look at that link down below. You can go download it for free on PC with that PC launcher, or you can head over to the Epic Game Store or the Steam store to go get the game for free. Now, also, Delta Force is available on mobile. We've had a lot of fun checking out all the crazy mobile content, crazy plays on mobile, so you've got to go get your hands on mobile. I'm going to make it very easy for you here on main stage. Just grab this QR code, take you over to the Android Google Play Store or the Apple iOS App Store. Go get involved right now on mobile. It's actually unbelievable. The graphics, they're PC level graphics on mobile. And frankly, cross progression makes this such an appetizing thing to get involved in. Even if you're not traditionally a mobile gamer, you can level up your weapons, you grind your account while you're on your coffee break. It's so dang cool. So go get your hands on it right now. Pro tip, you can just click on this. If you screenshot it, if you're watching us on mobile right now, now, screenshot that screen and just click the QR code on your image and it should pull it up for you. Also, by the way, you can play mobile on like an iPhone 6. It's super optimized for even low-end devices. Really loving Delta Force Mobile right now. Now, folks, we got more to talk about because Delta Force has, like I said, I think we've had like 8 events in the last 10 days. And if you want a chance to get involved in events like this or just keep yourself up to date on all things Delta Force, go take a look at all things Delta Force on all major socials. We're live all over the place, so make sure you drop a follow wherever you're watching us right now, whether it's X, TikTok, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, everything in between, and make sure you go join that Discord. That's where most of the folks are learning about events like this that potentially you can get involved in down the line. We had a ton of Warfare events as well. If you're a Warfare aficionado, you can even select your own notifications that you want to get pinged on inside the Discord, Q&As with the devs, and everything in between. All those links are down below in the description if you're on YouTube, where the mods can help you out if you didn't get a chance to see all of those. And also, we always have rewards. And so because of that, I gotta remind you, Twitch drops are still active. If you're live with us on Twitch right now, keep earning those rewards. Make sure your Delta Force account is linked to your Twitch account. That's the only way you're going to be able to redeem these. But take a look at all these right below me. We got recruit gear tickets all the way down to a Black Shark IFV skin. I mean, we got everything under the sun just for watching Delta Force content. Our channel is not the only one with those drops active. I am sure there are tons out there. All of the streamers out there have those drops active as well. So make sure you get your chance to get involved on those by just straight up watching the stream. It's really easy to get your rewards. But as per the usual, folks, before we get into the event, I've got to bring in a very special guest, a new face or an old face, depending how long you've been around. Taylor Reflections Noble back in the booth, the man, the myth, the legend. How you doing today?
Yeah, getting to be 33, I would say old face. That's that's the best way to put it. Went to the barber, said leave it a bit long in the back because we're starting to go bald. No, dude. Happy to be here, brother. Wish I had hair like you, but, you know, we can only be good at a certain amount of things and have so many talents and gifts, right, from the Lord above. But, hey, it's going to be a great day. It really is. The Delta Force is doing incredible things. You've been leading the charge for Delta Force, really, for quite some time, especially you and Tiff, right? Even on the esports side and back Delta Force Mobile. Like, to watch this game from when we were just doing, you know, the show matches, which really wasn't that long ago, to now where it's very, very established. It's a special thing. This game is doing a lot right.
Yeah, no, it is. We've had so much fun with the esports, and it's good to be back in the show matches with big streamers all competing today. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what they're doing because, yes, we are on operations. Let's take a look at this format graphic and break it all down for you. Of course, ask questions. We're paying attention to the chat. Taylor loves to answer your questions from the chat, all right? So ask those questions. He'll be paying attention. But here's a quick look at it. We've got a total of 4 maps today. We're going to play our first 2 on Space City. Our second 2, it's Zero Dam, but we are going deep into the night with some extra rules. It's going to be really exciting. So 4 maps, you can see them there. The rules are actually very similar if you watch the esports competitions we did. Basically, you get your extracted loot value, and then you get an extra 200,000 in loot value per kill that you find on the map. And the only real restrictions are you can't use key cards and you can't use any red, aka level 6, tier 6 equipment at all. That's everything that's red that you could pull in, you can't use. All right, pretty simple stuff. And then we've got some special rules today because we're bringing in some amazing streamers to compete today, so might as well add some extra wrinkles to the equation here. We've got an extra 150k loot value bonus points if you're able to extract via the rocket on Space City with over 2 million in loot, which shouldn't be too terribly difficult. Might see a couple teams try to do that. And then on map 3, it's a scav run. I mean, we are running in knives only. You can't bring anything. I'm talking bare bones, absolutely nothing, which I think will be really entertaining, going from these gold tier, really impressive loadouts across the board to absolutely nothing. It's going to be super cool here with map 3. And then map 4, it's going to be pistols only, which I think is also going to be very exciting. There are some really good pistol loadouts out there that you're going to want to copy when you see these players use them, whether it's the revolver, the G13, or otherwise. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Those are our rules for the day. Again, ask questions. We'll pay attention to it. But Taylor, talk to me about all of the crazy prizing we have for the day.
Oh, yeah. You know, we love to bring the prizing. We got 3 places to give out. So you want to be top 3. At least walk away with something for your good effort. First place is walking away with a total bag. We're talking the ROG monitor coming at them. And mind you, that's not just one. You don't have to fight your teammates to see who gets that monitor. We're giving away 3 of the monitors to each of the respective team members. And then you also have the 10,000 Delta tickets, 10,000 Mandel bricks, as well as the 10 quantum keys. And second and third place also walking away with a little something. We're talking 10,000 Delta tickets, of course, Mandel bricks, quantum keys, same thing for third, but third also gets the Black Sea Gleam bundle, which that beautiful axe right in front of you, that skin, which is really nice. I'd rather be walking away with something than nothing, and obviously for 3 teams, they'll have a chance to walk away with a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's a lot of great rewards, obviously, they can go for. But here's a quick look at the teams. And if you're a fan of Delta Force or pretty much just streaming in general, you probably recognize a lot of these names. We've got a fantastic list of streamers, content creators, frankly, competitors as well on this list across the board. And I think all of these teams are going to be very talented and locked and loaded, ready to go. So Taylor, talk to me about a couple of the teams you think might be front runners or you just got your eyes on.
Front runners? Okay, I'll save those for just a little bit, but I want to talk about Team Delta, man, because you got Gingy, Burnt Peanuts, and Hutch. First and foremost, been casting over Hutch for the longest time, and if you don't know, he transitioned from professional sports, we're talking literally professional baseball at the highest level, and then transferred over to streaming and ultimately gaming, and he's been at it for several years now. I want to say at least 5 or 6 at this moment. He's transferred from different games, but he's going to fit just fine when it comes to Delta Force, and in good company when it comes to Gingy and Burnt Peanuts. But Burnt Peanuts, so I gotta say, this is literally one of my favorite players today for a number of different reasons. This guy popped up on my algorithm a long time, and I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I built my algorithm brick by brick, but he's there, and I gotta say, love his energy, his excitement, and by the way, his stream schedule, I don't know if you know this, goes just super late. I believe he was streaming until like 3 in the morning,
nice.
Central Standard Time. Yeah, so I hope he's ready and awake. Granted, it's 1 o'clock now. He had a little bit of time, but he's grinding content, short form, long form, grinding the streams, and he knows his extraction shooters. I expect him to be incredibly valuable. This is more of a fun team to me, but also a serious team that I think if they bring their A game could put up a wonderful fight, but they're going to be entertaining nonetheless. But like you said, a lot of heavy hitters. Goes, what's another one?
Yeah, I mean, I see you all in the chat, all right? I'm a man of the people, and I'm also a man of Team Alpha. This is a sweat, I call them the Giga Sweat Squad. I mean, there's a couple of those, I think, in this one. You're right, I think Team Delta is actually going to be very strong. We've actually seen Team Delta win tournaments, not quite exactly this roster, but Gingy and Hutch have won tournaments in the past. But Team Alpha, I mean, this has got to be a front runner at every level of this competition. You start talking about operations, you start talking about Delta Force, you're talking about these 3 players on Team Alpha. Sammy Meadows, I think technically the captain of this squad, millions upon millions in loot value in their stash. They are locked and loaded, ready to win this whole thing. I'm really expecting them to do well today. I could say pretty much the exact same thing for Team Charlie as well. Mindo, Vivid, Chap. Funny side note, actually, we've been working on the esports for a while. We just finished up season 1 of the Delta Force Global League, and Mindo, Vivid, and Chap actually qualified for the Operation semifinals through the open qualifiers. That's how much they've been grinding Delta Force. They just couldn't quite make it because of some of the timing issues, so they didn't end up competing, but they're good enough to compete at an esports level. So, I mean, you gotta keep your eyes out for Team Charlie. Really strong team. And then, of course, our other 2 squads, fantastic as well. You've seen Team Echo almost in its entirety in Delta Force events in the past, so it's good to have Pokelulz joining, of course, Deadly Slob. That team is going to be really fun to watch as per the usual. And then Team Bravo. I think we could spend a long time talking about every single team. And I think, frankly, you know, sometimes when we do these events, we get to watch and have fun content and fun rewards, and it's always a good time, and that's definitely going to be the case. But Taylor, I truly believe today is going to be a really tight and frankly really competitive competition, which will also kind of be a fun twist to the way we've been doing these events.
Yeah, it should be, right? You know, obviously fun. We're going to have fun, especially with the streamer perspective. We're going to be seeing some nutty things and hearing some nutty comps, I'm sure of it. But these are serious competitors, and you broke down the history of some of them, not only for Delta Force, but just, when it comes to their competitive history. And just to touch on that a little bit more, first off, I do want to go back to Chap, Mindo, and Vivid. By the way, Chap and Vivid, I don't know if you know their history in esports. I'm sure you do. But for those in chat, right, like Chap and Vivid have been teammates off and on for the longest. We're talking literal years. And at one point, they were a power duo on a quad that was, competing in another game. And they were at the highest level. Both of them were sharing or under the banner of Team Liquid. No longer there. Mindo is, though, which is fun. And I find that very interesting. Mindo's on Team Liquid, Chap, Vivid, Team Liquid, Illumini, no longer there. But either way, all three of these guys have tremendous history, and especially Chap and Vivid. And they're serious shot hitters. I like that roster. For me, personally, I think that's the strongest roster competing today. Especially as you mentioned, like they were even trying to get involved in the esports side of things when it comes to Delta Force. So very excited to watch Chap and Vivid. I haven't casted over them in quite some time. So to see them on the same roster, it's going to be nostalgic, but super, super fun. And for any team that has to go against them, God bless their hearts, man. Because Vivid is super smart. Like Vivid, if you don't know, Vivid loves to put on clinics for various different games. He's super analytical. He's a talent in another esport as well. So he knows how to see through certain situations that the regular person wouldn't be able to see, and really strategize. And at certain points, maybe even IGL for this roster.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good shot. Again, I think I could sing their praises till the cows come home or the event's over when they likely win it. But at the same time, we've got to shout some of these other rosters out because, frankly, I think they've got some competitors. I think Team Alpha is a team that absolutely can compete with this squad. And frankly, I think when we start talking about a competition of this scale, we love to hype up our streamers. But when you start thinking about these teams, even that Team Alpha team has an opportunity here to get really, really sweaty with the way they're actually designing their loadouts and their kits. Again, this is similar rule set to the way we ran our esports program through the Delta Force Global League. And so when you start talking about what they're bringing in and the rules and the strategies for the day, I think some teams are going to be really diving into the nitty gritty of how to optimize, where some of the teams are going to be figuring that out along the way. So it's really about who picks up the strategy early. What we saw in operations during the Delta Force Global League was, frankly, these kits that these folks are bringing in are so valuable that, yes, looting is important. It can net you some crazy things. I tell this story over the last 4 broadcasts because it was wild. Taylor, we were during the semifinals off broadcast preparing for the Delta Force Global League, and somebody found a Heart of Africa during the qualifiers. I mean, okay. Loot, please loot, because you could find something crazy. But everybody's loadout they're bringing in, their full kit with all the gear in it. I mean, we're talking millions. And so just one team wipe could net you a massive loot value total. And then the goal is, hey, do we want to play high risk, high reward, keep that loot value of probably pushing 10 mil and still keep fighting? Or do we want to get the heck out of this map and make sure we log points? Because you could wipe 2 full teams, and sure, that's 6 kills, 200,000 per kill. That's 1.2 mil, not bad. But if you don't get out, you don't keep any of that loot.
That's right. In the Heart of Africa, but how much was it? Was
13 mil. Yeah.
I was going to say 13 mil, right? Like, that's insane. To find that, and the fact that you literally saw that live, I'm sure you were just, your jaw dropped to the floor is crazy, and that could happen. I don't know. Today we'll see. The good thing is though, the streamers aren't losing their loot, right, and losing their kits, at least today, which is a great thing, and I do believe that's going to alleviate some of the pressure on their mind, because they can be a bit more aggressive and challenge a bit more, at least in comparison to what they're used to, right, where everything is on the line and losing. Maybe get a bit more campy, which I don't think necessarily we'll see too much of the campy play style. You will.
I don't know.
Well, you say it right. I say that, but it's like watching a previous broadcast. It is a bit slower, but I really hope having that pressure off their minds gets them a little bit amped up and wanting to push forward, right? And that just makes things fun and exciting. I do wonder, based off of the teams, is there a certain team that you think will be super aggro and maybe challenge, like, let's say, the Burnt Peanut and his crew, right? Early on, if they know they're opposite of each other, just because they're so confident in their ability to slay out. They say, hey, that's a weaker squad. Let's push them. Let's just get them out of the way.
Yeah, no, that's a really funny comment. And I agree. I do think you're right. I think it's actually going to play a little bit more aggressive and quicker pace than the esports side is, just because people want to get involved and get active. I mean, this is streamer POVs. We're having a lot of fun with our content creators. I actually think that squad you mentioned, I think the Burnt Peanuts, Gingy, and Hutch squad, I think they're going to get a little bit active. I mean, if history
I think so
repeats
too.
itself with the way they play in these events, they usually, they're strategic. They know how to play the game well, but they get active and they get active quick. So I think watch Hutch, trying to swing around corners and take 1v2s, and frankly usually winning those, whereas some of our more like Delta Force aficionado teams, again, Team Alpha, Team Charlie, those teams in particular, I mean, I'd even say Gorilla, Marksman, and Wildman as a team to watch out for, to also potentially play hyper aggressive. I think Alpha and Charlie understand the stakes that if they get full wipe, that is a giant amount of loot to their opponents. So they might actually play a bit slower and just try to play third-party fights and pick up fights that are a higher percentage. Whereas maybe Gorilla Squad, who again have a ton of experience on this game, a ton of experience in extractions, I could see that squad being one of those middle ground teams that is a bit more aggressive, but also has played a crazy amount of reps in this game. And so you could see that team actually come out on top just because they are playing that middle ground. It really comes down to what you do on Space City. I think, as a reminder, we're starting out with Space City and we're getting our players all ready to go in our very first lobby, making sure it's as even of a playing field as possible for everybody, and they're getting their loadouts ready to go. So we should be starting here shortly. But starting Space City begets a few things as we're about to jump into it. Reminder, if you haven't played Space City in a while, the spawns are quite close to each other. So yes, in the mid game, it might be a bit slow. People playing angles, people playing, camping a little bit to make sure they take the right fights. The very beginning, expect 1 to 2 really hot team fights right off spawn. Gets really aggressive quick, and we'll see who comes out on top of those. But with the spawns being as close as they are, I think I would expect it to get very spicy very quick here, Taylor.
That's what we want. Okay, look, as caster spectator, we don't want the slow. The slow will happen. The slow is necessary. The slow is what it is, right? But we want spiciness. We want in-your-face fights. I mean, after all, there is some additional bonus points going your way if you do get an elimination. So there is a reason to do so. I want to see a Team Alpha up. Okay, I'm not talking Team Alpha necessarily. I'm talking just a Team Alpha up in general. Get out there and really show what you're about. You only get 2 of these until we get into the craziness with the knife only and the pistol only, right? So if you're a team that's used to playing extraction shooters, you're used to playing Delta Force, and you're familiar with this style, right? Operations, this is your time to shine, especially if you're confident in your trio. So get spicy, risk it all, and get an early lead. There's only top 3 getting paid. There's 6 teams, okay? So top 3 walk away reprising. I want to be one of those top 3. I refuse to settle for anything less.
Well, hey, again, another thing we always talked about during the esports competition, it's the same here. It may only take one absolute banger. You win the map, even if you only get a kill to clean everything up. You could win it all. Let's see who does in our very first map of the day. Welcome in to the Burst or Break Operation Challenge, and a first look at the map to see where everybody's at. And ooh, it looks like quickly everybody's actually spread out a little bit. With only 5 teams on the map, it doesn't look like we picked up 2 of the spawns that were right next to each other. Maybe the only exception to that rule was actually Chap and Mindo's squad and Hutch's team over on the far right-hand side with Assembly Room. And it looks like Hutch's squad was able to rotate out immediately to make sure they don't immediately take a fight and they can kind of get themselves and their bearings and figure out where they want to go. 5 teams is kind of fun because there's a little bit more room to work with.
Yeah, a little bit more room, and now, with everybody spread out, it's the dream of spiciness off the rip is dead. And I'm quite sad. I'm not going to lie, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen for sure. Based off of what you're seeing, though, is there a team that you expect to maybe push? Like, you look at Sammy and his crew, right, and currently in the middle. Being in the middle, does that provide a disadvantage? Because at times, right, if you're in the middle, you could potentially get focused, right? You got marksmen, right? You've got up top, you've got Hawks and crew, so they can move in and kind of pincer you in. Is that a risk that Budsy and the crew run?
Yeah, it's actually not a bad comm. What we've actually traditionally seen in Space City is that the people in the middle actually have a decent advantage. Usually, folks aren't pinching them. They're trying to take these edge fights because they feel safer. And the team in the middle is actually the first team that could third party that first fight. And so what we will probably see is teams slowly rotate around the map, figure out where they want to go, and then look and listen for those signal flares of the blood in the water. Hey, there's a fight happening. Let's see if we can come in and clean up. Let's kind of listen into some of these comms and see what these teams are thinking as they rotate to these different points.
I'm gonna hold 5 down and bring up the context menu and priest him.
Do I have a stim?
I don't think so, unless you bought it yourself.
No.
All right. Well, I guess we got to get out there.
We could, if we wanted to, maybe like work this side of the map to begin with, and maybe get food, items and stuff there while everyone else fights. Maybe the value here, I don't know.
I mean, one thing is we could.
We are solo over here.
I think we're near the launch area. I mean, we had the luxury of spawning in the launch area. So theoretically, if we wanted to just,
we could camp the hell out of the choke point.
Oh, I heard someone shot an arrow.
Already great comms from this team. Now, again, Sacriel has actually won one of our events in the past. I'm liking how they're thinking. They're kind of jockeying back and forth between this idea of, do we want to camp one of these extraction points, a choke point,
There's an AI right
or do we want to get involved? And speaking of getting involved, it looks like we are trying to... Whoa. Oh, that's Gorilla on the other side. They're already getting involved. They're already fighting each other.
Okay, so we already have our first engagement going down, and unfortunately it's Hutch, my boy, dropping off early. And then unfortunately Peach is also down too. You weren't expecting, I mean, we wanted spiciness. This was a crew, a trio that we thought might get pushed up on, and that's exactly what's happening. But for Burnt Peanuts, my man doesn't go down without a fight, and he's giving it right back to him.
Oh!
I love when he opens his mouth. I can't get enough of this guy. No! Oh no! Is that the quickest exit you've seen?
No, I expected there to be an early fight, and all of a sudden, action all over the map. Budsy's able to take down Pokelols, and that whole team is out of here as well. That is 2 teams fully eliminated in the blink of an eye. I thought it was going to be a bit slower, but honestly, huge shout to Burnt Peanut, almost 1v3ing there. It was a tough situation playing inside, the actual Space City Tower, because here's the issue, right? You don't really have a lot of view on Gorilla who gets the first knock. It's then player advantage.
Swap all their gear for fucking
footsteps east.
Chilling.
Could be a bot below us.
And I wanted to listen to these comms, and what they're talking about is what I was about to say is, like, since they won the encounter and they're able to get everybody back up, you want to swap all of your gear for theirs, because that will then count towards loot value. You can see, we were looking at his POV on the left, 150k in loot value is basically nothing. But if he just swaps his guns and his armor for the opponents they wiped, they're going to have multiple millions in pocket. So a huge win inside of kind of central command building. But it does look like Mindo and Co are trying to get involved, and likely we're going to see these 2 teams interact. We are down to 3 teams on the map here, Taylor.
I was within like 4 minutes, and we will have an engagement. This is the crew that I wanted to see, though, and again, Chap and Vivid being together is it's awesome to me now with Mindo, as Mindo has been just so good. Meowdo, by the way, big fan of the name bottom left. Love cats, man. What can I say? But yeah, I mean, at this point, do you wait? I mean, you have plenty of time. 24 minutes still of play time. Why are we rushing things? Is there a reason why Chap, Vivid, and Mindo would want to push this engagement?
I think originally they wanted to swing up and potentially try to third party if the fights took a bit longer, because oftentimes they will. But also, it's a ton of loot. You got to remember, 2 full teams have been wiped in this area. And so if they're able to wipe the 3rd team here, I mean, this is a 20 million plus loot value game that not only could set them up at the top of the leaderboard if they're able to wipe Marksman Squad, but also potentially set up such a massive gap that if they just have okay games for the rest of this event, they're going to win.
Yeah, this fight's going to happen.
We go mid.
There's no way they pull off. Absolutely no way they pull off.
Maybe smoke dart again, so they are worried about it. Just slam the smoke and I'll just dart from afar. And then we can rotate. I will dart. You can hold yours.
You can tell these guys have maybe played a few Space City games. And you're right. I mean, you were saying they wouldn't back off. And I think what they're basically deciding is, like, we could take this fight and probably win. But even if we called it a 60% winnable fight, maybe even 70%, what if we make it an 80-90% winnable fight by playing the choke point and holding their cross? Because they're going to have to come out eventually. And we can kind of hold this cross, and we don't really know how many teams are left. They probably have a pretty good idea since they wiped a squad, I believe. And then, obviously, Wildman, Marksman, and Gorilla just wiped a squad inside. They likely know there's still one more team out there, and if they start this fight at a weird angle,
I think we have to go left.
Could be a bit difficult if a third party rolls up.
I just don't know if Budsy and them want to get spicy. I don't think they do.
Well, and let me actually backtrack, because now that I'm looking at the map, this squad actually has not taken a fight yet. It was Budsy's team that held the southern side, taking down Sacriel squad, which was the issue. Sacriel, I think, was trying to play the south side of the map, and Budsy knew it and just caught him on an off angle and took him out.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna throw a smoke where we're gonna go across, and then we gotta get to that left.
Okay, so they back away. And now you look at Vivid Chap and his crew potentially getting pincered between the remaining two rosters. But I mean, plenty of map to work with and plenty of time again. There's really no reason to rush things, even though it was absolutely rushed at the beginning. But I think for them, again, they just want to kind of gatekeep. That's really their main goal. They want to gatekeep and just... I think, yeah, we're going to go ahead and fight it out. Why not?
Yeah, you got to remember, obviously, there is the rocket extract. That is something you can do, pull the levers, all that good stuff. It's like a 12-minute timer. They're already looking at each other. M700's likely in hand of everybody on both of these two teams because, well, these are what I'm calling the Giga Sweat squads. They've played Space City a lot. They know what to bring in. M700 probably the best sniper that you can use based on our current limitations. So it's going to be a snipe off. It's who gets to knock first. Here's the thing, though. Because of that glass is not able to be shot through, you're not going to be able to get a cleanup here. This is just a depletion of resources.
Which is still important, like across multiple titles, right? I mean, if you could take resources healing,
I think there actually might only be 3.
That's a net positive as far as I'm concerned. Without a doubt.
Hit him.
So, question I have for you, Goj, for Chap and them, outside of just fighting, like, I mean, how long is it worth it to stay where they're currently at and potentially get third party from the back, right? Because they're so focused on Gorilla and Co. up ahead.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, behind them, they can get pincered, right? So, I mean, is it worth it to continue to? I mean, obviously, we mentioned the loot, but is it worth it to back away and maybe scavenge yourself?
Yeah, you can hear them talking. It's actually a really good shout. They basically said that. They were like, hey, look, we could just keep shooting at these guys until they leave because they're going to likely get third party before we do. Like, nobody's going to wrap all the way to central command to third party that side of that fight. Everybody's going to be crunching in. And they even said probably 3 teams remaining. But look at them. They've got to swap this gear, and then they've got to repair that gear so they can actually take fights, but also get the loot value.
I've been through the ringer. You guys are doing more than just fine.
I was looking at Sammy's perspective. I don't know. It looked like Nowhere ended up falling. Yeah, and Nowhere goes down. Yeah, and interesting. So he gets sniped up. He's going to get rezzed.
I'm a free res, but I cannot see him.
But got a little bit tested there. And then how do you balance pushing a team once you do get a knock? Like, do you get aggressive in that moment, or again, is it just about depleting resources?
M700 fights, usually pretty long range. That'd be a tough fight to ape, to be honest. I think this team's going to be fine with just go ahead and burning the revive. You got to remember, too, operations-wise, you basically go down to that yellow timer once. If you get full knocked again, you cannot be revived at all. So that is a resource in and of its own. It does look like they're trying to swing on this fight. They know these guys are at least weak and on their heels.
Right.
But they did get the revive off. So if they are able to knock Nowhere again and then full him, he will not be able to get back up in this game at all, and they'll be down 3v2 no matter what. So a huge boon, but they're swinging on this mostly because they've got to play around some of these extraction points.
Right.
I'm at 60 on mine.
Oh, they're right there, too.
Bushes and shit.
This is by far one of the most aggressive teams we've seen yet, at least out of the 6. We didn't get to see the others very quickly, or very long, I should say.
It would stop us from getting shot in the back by Marksman and them. They have Shepard, so yeah.
But they just have such good communication.
They're going to wrap underneath. We'll kind of listen into some of their comms on this fight. This is a... This is going to be a fun fight.
We're in cheater helm.
You can tell they are super worried about getting third-partied, and because of that, they're trying to wrap around to the other side of this team to play the outside, so that if anybody's going to pinch, it's going to be a pinch onto Nowhere and Sammy Sucks. And ideally, if you're Marksman squad, you're able to come in and, you know, snipe one down and make them fight. I think that would be a key moment, is if you see a knock up above, you potentially could take that push, but we'll see.
Right.
That peak is just so dangerous. If one creeps on bridge, we just die. They could also trap tunnels. Fight is just ass.
Ooh, look at the map. Look at where Wildman, Marksman, and Co. are swinging around. So they're actually wrapping on the far left side of this map around facility. And this is a pretty open lane if Mindo and Co. peek over to the left, or Sammy Sucks peeks over the bridge and they're able to pick one. But they're so focused on each other right now. I don't know if they're going to spot them immediately.
Where's the scav?
This is about to get real nasty real quick. And you were asking how fast things would move. We still have 17 minutes on the clock. Whoever wins this map is going to have just an unbelievable amount of loot value.
It's going to be crazy. It really is. Wildman and his crew, by the way, I don't think they're going to be seen. Because like you said, Chap and his crew, and then, of course, above Gorilla and them, like, they're so focused on each other that they're not even going to be looking down that lane. And Chap and crew are looking to make a bit of a move here.
Over there.
Going up top.
They're actually giving us a lot of space to kill them.
A lot of space.
Can we go back up around then? Or no?
Yeah.
Now, one of the things you can tell this team, I told you they were King of Sweats. One of the things that this team is doing is a very like esports level plays, which is how do we get information without risking our lives, right? And so you're seeing that they're able to swing up through the window, smoking it, and then recon arrowing just to make sure they don't give anything up. Now, one other thing to notice, it looks like Chap's already got the Sea Gleam, so they are not going for third here. They don't need it. They've already got it. They are looking for the gold.
That's it, dude. They're going for the monitors. Come on.
That's right.
Going for the monitors. They are taking their time. If I'm the team with the high ground, I almost start to, at least me personally, not necessarily them, I start to get a little bit nervous because, you know, when's the fight going to break out? I would almost want it to break out like immediately, as opposed to this just waiting game, because, you know, the team with high ground, they're almost, I think Sammy and his group are almost waiting, and almost playing reactive.
I've seen it
more so than proactive.
The only way to push it is
where
the
I
close
feel that's
angle.
where like
That's where all the
Wildman's
teams were.
gameplay and Vivid's game plan is
I feel like we
currently
let
at,
these
which
guys fight. We just wait here.
for them, I
sit on
thought they
the
were going to
heavy
full
here,
send and go for
and we
like
watch
maybe,
our
you know,
lap
third
to make
party,
sure
get a
we're
little bit closer, but there's still quite a bit of distance between them, but they're right there in the precipice of potentially engaging. So, you know, I ask you, Sammy and that crew being on top of the high ground, but pincered. You can't look left, you can't look right. If you do, you get into a fight, you're going to get third party.
They must literally just be clear.
Just a nasty situation. And speaking of Marksman and his crew, let's go ahead and listen in and see what's going in their heads.
There's 5. There was 5. We killed 1. So besides us, yeah.
And we heard a fight initially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be 2 teams left, other than us.
Yep.
It's definitely chopping them. I think I'm pretty sure they're holding, unless they were nading to take it. I'm not sure.
They don't know.
I think they're nading to clear out bottom because they don't have a hack loss, so they're just probably fucking clearing everything.
But I don't see anyone pushing from like at all. There's no push happening right now.
I feel like in their position, they'll take rocket, but they won't take it. They'll just keep holding for the pull.
All we have to pray for is that it's like Nowhere's team and Chap's team up right now, because Nowhere has bridge. Chap's team is going to want to fight for the bridge.
Yeah, they were running double limit for a reason.
Yeah.
Wow. So great listening, and frankly, this team's tapped in. They know exactly what's going on, except for one key thing. While we're listening to them talk,
we don't want to be the team.
Sammy Sucks is out of there, folks. They made a crazy rap while we're in listening, and this guy said best case scenario is it's the 2 teams that are alive. They know exactly who's alive because we know where they are. Not anymore.
I think our options.
Sammy Sucks is gonzo ball. Team Alpha is out of there.
The last few minutes of the game, pretty much, and we take no backpack.
Yeah, they're gone.
A decent amount of loot.
And they just stayed there for so long. Like I said, they were really playing reactive. And now they take a proactive approach. They're gone. And the question is, obviously for Marksman, Wild, Gorilla, they don't know that Budsy, Sammy, and It's Nowhere have left. But they still have a good idea where Vivid, Chap, and Mindo are currently at. Do you think Vivid, Chap, and Mindo caught any whiff that this roster, this trio on the screen ended up leaving? That's the question. Because if they stay, is there a chance Marksman, Wildman, and Gorilla end up challenging, and then we see obviously Vivid Chap's team go against Marksman and Wildman?
I think we try to make. Yeah, it's a good question. I think this team's trying to make their way. It sounded like they said they're making their way to the other side of the map, but it's interesting because Chap and Mindo now have essentially arbitrarily taken a fairly powerful position. You got to remember that the extraction point over there is a choke point that you can hold, and they were playing the low ground on it. Bridge above, kind of camping over the top of it, but now that this team is fully rotated out, I don't know how that fight will go down. I don't think Gorilla Squad's going to. I don't think Gorilla Squad's going to leave their position for a while. And so now Chap, Mindo, and Vivid have to make a decision. Do we stay here on low or high ground now that bridge has been given away? I assume they heard footsteps, but you never know.
Maybe we walk it up.
And do we just wait it out, wait this timer out, and say, hey, we're going to be camping this extract? Or do we try to make a move? I'd be curious to listen into what they're thinking.
The whole game.
We can still just take it so no one else can, right?
Yeah, I mean, we should.
The timing is just last minute, no submit contract, you know? Okay, I'm worried about that peak we shot them from.
Yeah, well, I think they'll do that for sure.
Yeah, just give me
I mean, we have bridge control at this point, but...
I hear shots. Can you give me a smoke just to be safe?
Smoke and CEO. Come this way.
Smoke me just to be safe.
Yeah. Hey, they might be fighting.
Yeah, I think they might be.
They will fight each other. We'll definitely third it. They do.
It's grieved for the event now.
Okay, well, it's quite obvious that they know the bridge is safe because they're up on bridge now. And one of the things they're talking about, Taylor, is they thought these teams might be fighting, but it's actually some folks clearing some AI, it sounds like.
Okay, so
and so they don't know where Wildman Marksman is. They have no clue.
Neither roster does. They are totally off the grid, off the radar, in a corner, which shouldn't. I don't foresee any team crossing their path. If they do, man, rest in peace. That's going to be an easy cleanup as far as I'm concerned for Marksman, Wildman, and Gorilla. But yeah, they're staying put.
So you're not allowed to use them. That's all.
Where they want to be. They don't want to move. They don't need to move.
I see them yet.
And we're kind of back to square one, where the teams are just trying to figure out what's going on in this. It's time to work out. Hey, if you could do a one-handed push-up, bro, with all of that gear on your back, I'm impressed.
Well, this is a really good wrap by them because now they've got a bit of information. Obviously, they can likely see each other. I'm assuming this person on the bridge has noticed him in the window. So Nowhere and Co. know exactly where Mindo's team is on the bridge. They were able to make it off the bridge and obviously knew they were giving up that position.
They're up there.
And yeah, okay, it sounds like
because they had a.
That's exactly right. Now they know exactly where Nowhere's team is.
I don't know if they killed Gorilla. I doubt they could have killed him that fast.
I'm gonna go look for some loot over here.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We get a SATCOM in the side building.
Yeah, there's a golden.
So now with 9 minutes remaining.
Sky here.
What's the game plan from here? Obviously, the extraction points want to get out. Quite a bit of loot. For Vivid, Chap, Mindo, because we decided, I don't think they were in those early engagements, correct? I believe it was between Sammy and Wildman. They were the two who ended up getting the cleanups earlier.
Yeah.
Like within the first 4 minutes. So for Vivid, Chap, Mindo, how do they end in a positive with just 8 minutes left? And you have an idea at least where Nowhere and crew is. You have an idea now where Wildman and crew is. But now how do you end up on top?
Yeah, he's
yeah.
They have 30 mil.
It's a great question. And to be honest, I was looking at that map and I got a little worried because it looks like Sammy and Co. is actually going to rotate maybe around this outside right onto this team. As we saw the map, look at which building they're playing inside right now.
Mm-hmm.
Their only clear rotation back to that extraction point, if they wanted to take it, is basically through Marksman, Wildman, and Gorilla. A wild rotation of teams kind of moving around each other, trying to play around each other. Again, this is what we expect at high-level operations. It's what we saw. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Sammy's trying to play a little bit of information gathering tools. And essentially, your only real options, rocket extraction, you know, is going to be really tough for any of these teams to do. I don't even know that necessarily I think it technically started within like the first 15 minutes. And then there's like a 12-minute countdown. So like, I mean, sure, theoretically, but the main options right now are going to be test range there on the backside. Is a no backpack exfil. So that's an option. And frankly, you're going to get a lot of loot value without your backpack because you've already taken down a team in theory.
And we finish the fight. But if we can't, we literally just take no backpack.
Yeah, because we only have your smokes, so we're going to need your smokes to push in and take it.
Yep.
Yeah.
3.2 as well.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like the 3.2, you can see the armor he's wearing, the helmet he's wearing are not his. So that's going to count towards his value. And I think his weapon, at least his primary weapon, is not his either. So that'll count towards it, probably like a 700k weapon.
Damn.
Yeah, so you can extract with their kit without a backpack actually pretty easily and not lose a crazy amount of loot value.
They're gonna have to pull that switch soon.
Alone.
Damn.
Couple million.
And yeah, you can hear them talking briefly about pulling switches. That's going to be that heli extract. There's only 6 minutes on the clock, so kind of got to get moving here. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Everybody's still camping primary areas. I mean, I still feel Wildman and them are in a good spot, even though they're camping. I know people kind of been critical of that, but I mean, come on. They got the early fight wins. They put themselves in a good spot.
They're there. Yeah, they're literally, they're just chilling there right now, for sure. They haven't grabbed it yet. Otherwise, the helicopters would be coming down.
Yeah.
But they have to grab it soon. It's 5 minutes 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. You saw it on the map. That helicopter extract is right in front of where Chap and Mindo's team is holding, right? So that's going to be an option, but it has to be pulled within the next 30 seconds, basically. You then got the no backpack extract behind Mindo's team. And then the rocket extract that's all the way down at the bottom of the bridge that I think when we looked at it had 7 minutes on the clock with 5 minutes. Yeah, look, we're not even going to get the rocket extract. So nobody's getting that bonus.
Yeah.
So it wasn't readied in time. So now it's a fight to the death for that.
Early. That could have been readied a lot earlier too, because everything was already
pretty much
good to go in regards to that, but nobody wanted to really make a move.
Yep.
Because they were so focused on the fights, more so than the bonus objectives, obviously, and just walking out with the loot. We finally have some movement.
Running out to the left. Is that a bot?
But not much, really.
Assuming it is.
And again, the only team that I'm really concerned about is Chap, Mindo, and Vivid, because I don't think they've done a lot in terms of loot.
Yeah, and I'm loving some of the people in chat. We're like, oh, this is so slow. Yeah, it's operations with a bunch of super sweaty teams. If you didn't have a chance to check out the esports side of things, it is supposed to be slow. I mean, there's a massive amount at stake per just what you bring in with our rule set here. So it's going to be super slow. However, it's not going to be too much. It's not going to be slow for too much longer here, Taylor. 4.5 minutes, 3 teams on the map, all jockeying for basically the same extraction. You can see that timer. There's going to be about a minute on the clock. If you don't hit this extraction, there's really nowhere else you could probably get to. And this is about to be a bloodbath very quickly.
If you see anything, Vivid, I'm gonna go on.
I like it. I'm here for the bloodbath. We had it for the first 4 minutes. We'll have it here once again as well for the first time in a long time. We've got movement. Wildman, Gorilla, and his crew are on the move. The question is, have they been spotted? I don't think so. They did mention smokes, so they could use that for coverage. A lot of open space in front of them to run the risk, obviously, of getting beamed down. Luckily for them, Chap, Vivid have kind of pushed back. And was Mindo finished off? Or do I just not?
No, I want to say that this is a pretty common strategy from a lot of teams. We didn't get a chance to see it on main. I'd love to take a look at their POV if we can, observers, because I want to say they sent Mindo out the no backpack extract with a sizable amount of loot to at least get some points on the board. Okay, no, he's still on the map. Okay. He was just way off to the left-hand side. It didn't look like our observer POV had him, so he's still in. I was going to say, I didn't remember this team looting a body yet. So, and so I think they're more worried about this fight. But we have seen teams do that in the past, is where they'll send one out to make sure they get some loot on the board. But this team hadn't fought yet, so I didn't think he had hardly anything on him. Still in.
Yeah, They need to fight. Like, they need to get active.
Yeah, probably.
And they don't have a lot of time to do so.
Well, they've kind of got, and yeah, you can see it now on the map. Wow, a very quick rotation from Wild Manico. This is about to get really gross. They know exactly where they are. They're right below them. It's going to be a really tough fight. It's about who gets first knock and then potentially ape that fight. The problem, on the left-hand side, here comes Sammy Suck, basically following in the footsteps of Wild Manico, trying to swing up on this fight because they all have to play for this extraction. Everybody's trying to get out in the exact same spot, and it quite literally, Taylor, might be a sprint to the heli right as the extraction goes off, and you might get out.
Hope those little legs are ready to run. I hope they are.
1 minute 30. Did we just push the team and go for some kills?
Dude, I think that's the game plan.
That's a great question.
Come on. At this point, like you said, they've already got third place on lock in terms of the prizing. They've already got it. So, like, just go ahead and go for the push and make this happen because they've wanted to get active for a while. They've been on the precipice of getting into fights multiple times. They backed away. Again, not a bad play. I don't say that to be critical by any means, right? But now it's do or die. They truly have to get a move on. Even extracting really doesn't help them at the moment. They're not going to win map 1. So they have to get into a fight here. Not a lot of time to do so. They've got teams around them.
Yeah, it's tough, Taylor, because they are in such a powerful position. But you're right, they haven't looted a body yet. And so if they take the fight late at the last 20 seconds before the extraction, they're hardly going to have any time to even grab any loot off the body. They're just looking for kills and playing spoiler, and it looks like that's what they're talking about. They're trying to find an angle just to take this fight. If they let either of these two teams out of this lobby at all, they're going to be down on the leaderboard.
29 seconds on this fucking extract, bro.
What's power worth if you don't have the money, man? What's power worth if you don't have the money? Go and get it.
You heard the comm, 29 seconds, now probably 20 seconds. Somebody's going to sprint for this. They already have the loot besides the squad. This is the team to watch. Who do they pick up? Nice. They pick up one in transition. That's Fuzzy down. Just got knocked down. He's not fully out of this at all. He's got plenty of life left. I believe a Viren was on the other side, but the extraction point is fully gone, and I think a couple teams were able to get out. Nowhere also knocked, though. I'd love to swing perspectives. 35 seconds. Who was able to get out? It does look like Nowhere was getting out. 3 mil. Great.
Wow.
Great map.
Great map indeed, dude. And by the way, they got all of that within literally the first 4 minutes. Like that's where it all came from. Granted, a little bit of looting from that point, but like great job. Nowhere gets out. Sammy down, no worries. 3 mil. That should be the win. Vivid obviously gets the elimination, but again, I don't think they were able to get the loot.
Might be too late, huh?
Oh man, that was so chaotic. I don't even know who got out or who didn't. Based on what we can see, though, it looks like Nowhere was able to sneak out, and this is what I was worried about. And I think Vivid, Mindo, and Chap were having this conversation. Is like we don't have the time. Like we ran out of time, and because we were playing so slow up there, we needed to maybe swing on a fight a bit earlier. They had the best position. They played it near flawlessly, and they picked up a couple kills along the way. Now they're gonna have some points on this leaderboard, but I don't think they were able to get out at all. And it did look like a couple teams were able to sneak into that extract in the last second, as I was mentioning. A couple people killed in transition. You get one out with some decent loot, you're going to be near the top of the leaderboard. So what was a crazy start to this thing, turns out I think the top team is going to have maybe around 4.2 mil at the most across the board based on who was able to get out and the amount of kills those teams were able to get. And unfortunately, Mindo Chap, that squad did a great job on the map, perfectly set up to play these fights. They were able to pick up a couple kills. I don't think they were able to get anything for it besides the loot value from the kills, which will be somewhere around the neighborhood. I want to say they probably picked up like 600K, 800K at most, between 3 to 4 kills, if they were even able to get that. So yeah, some math behind the scenes and frankly some replays, figure out what the heck happened in the last couple seconds. They had a no backpack extract potentially they could have used, but again, I don't know that they had the time for it. Let's take a quick look back at some of the replays from that one, because Taylor, as expected, some early engagements, a lot of slow play in the middle, and at the very end it was aggressive.
Yeah, it was this explosive first 4 minutes. Hutch ended up dropping first. We're like, wow, and already an engagement going down. But it was Burnt Peanut that stole the show early on, nearly with a 1v3. Okay, and I say that to the highest degree. That is special. Burnt Peanut, like I mentioned, huge fan. Love his commentary. I love the open mouth whenever he gets excited. Like, the guy is doing everything right. He's been blowing up on the scene recently, and rightly so. He deserves all the success. But it was Chap, Vivid, and Mendo that I thought was going to be our next team to truly heat up against Marksman, Gorilla, and co. And it just never happens, right? So you had Gorilla up top, and as we see now, obviously Nowhere ends up dropping, but gets out with, what, 3 million, I think.
Yeah.
So you're thinking 4.2 overall as a whole.
Yeah. I think it's somewhere around there, and it is a great shout. I love our replays making that map look extremely exciting, because it was. We just had our engagements early and our engagements late, and the middle is all about the setup, and that's how Space City plays every single time we see it. And so it was really fun to watch and kind of listen into some of those comms of the teams figuring out, what do we know? What don't we know? And frankly, information is everything in the late game of Space City. And it was this really fun back and forth of these teams trying to decide, hey, do we even push for these kills, or do we just slow play this and just try to clean up a couple of people in transition? Because when it comes to leaderboard things, like the constant battle back and forth is, do we play for our own loot value, or do we play spoiler on others that maybe have more? Both are valuable, and both frankly could be the right answer at any point in this competition. And it seemed like Vivid, Mendo, and Chap said, hey, we want to play spoiler on this leaderboard and potentially wipe these other teams from getting out, so that our leaderboard is still well within reach for everybody else, because they played great. They just didn't happen to find any of the couple early engagements, so they didn't have loot value to leave. There was nothing for them to leave for. They needed to play spoiler on some of these other teams, and they were able to do that for the most part.
For the most part, yeah. Again, their positioning was great. It's just a matter of getting down to the execution. Yeah, for those who, are saying that it is slow, it can be relatively slow, but I challenge you to really think about, especially when you're looking at the overall map, like what these teams, what would you do in the situation? For example, Chat, Vivid, Mendo, you've got a team above you of Marksman and co. Like, Nowhere, Sammy, and Budsy, are you pushing them? Are you staying where you're at? Are you then trying to reposition yourself onto another engagement, right? That's the good thing, and that's the cool thing about operations, is using your mind to theoretically think like, okay, this is the best play versus obviously they're not optimal. We got the scores. What are we looking at, baby?
Yeah, here we go. And wow, okay, it does look like off screen, yes, Nowhere was able to sneak out, and it's a little bit lower than I thought, only 3 kills. So they had 3.5, almost 3.6 mil in total in loot value, but it looks like Team Alpha was almost fully able to sneak out. Are you kidding me? They're able to make it out with 8.6 mil. Sorry, That's Team insane. Bravo, my bad. They're at the top, 8.6 mil. So we were paying attention to Team Alpha, and we were paying attention to where that Nowhere was able to sneak out of there while knocked, hit the extract just in time, but it was Team Bravo with Marksman, Gorilla, and Wildman that was able to stay alive and fully, it looks like, extract to get 3 kills and a massive loot value across the board. And again, this comes back down to what we talked about earlier. It's the early engagement that set them up well for the end game, because they had the loot value to say, we don't need more kills, we need to get out of this map. And so very well done from Team Bravo here, Marksman, Gorilla, and Wildman to do that. And then, of course, my eyes are drawn to Team Charlie, who we watched for a majority of that map. Mendo, Vivid, and Chap. Great job. They pick up 3 kills overall. I don't think they were able to clean up that kill on Nowhere at the end, which is the reason he gets out, and they don't get the extra 200K. They're still on the leaderboard, though. They still put up points, which is a big deal. So congrats to our top 3 thus far. And of course, Delta and Echo, great players, great teams, almost hero level plays from Burnt Peanut, but even still, a 0 doesn't look great on the leaderboard. The good news, though, Taylor, 3 more maps to go. And as I've said multiple times, if somehow Team Bravo wiped, the other 2 teams, you could have put up a 20+ million game. Everybody is still in this.
Everybody's still in it, indeed, especially Team Charlie. I think next game, they're about to go nutty, buddy. They're going to be going off and pushing fights. They're not going to be... Look, that last map, again, they were in so many great positions and had opportunities to engage and fight. They took it slow. They had plenty of time to do it, but the thing about time is it's not infinite. Eventually, it runs out, and they ultimately ended up running out of the time. And for those who were criticizing Marksman, Wildman, Gorilla for camping, like, look, they walk out with 8.6 million because their job was essentially done within the first 4 minutes. Aside from that, they were more so playing against their opponents and trying to go for third parties if it made sense. If it didn't, there's no reason to risk their loot. They knew they were already in a winning position, and more than double of the at least the loot of Sammy Nowhere and Budsy at 3.5 million. So that's the team to watch. That's the team currently in first place. But again, you go back to Burnt Peanut. If he could almost get that 1v3, imagine what he could do now going into a fresh map. Okay, this guy's about to go off, and I guarantee you teams, even though it was maybe they call it an easy win, they need to think twice about challenging that man because he's coming out for blood.
Yeah, and I think the thing to remind ourselves of is we're headed back to Space City. So now that we've got a little bit of experience, now we might know which angles we need to be careful of. You could tell, I mean, we were watching Mindo, Chap, and Vivid. Even just getting information, they were smoking to get that because they know the efficiency that you can find with the M700, right? That's what opened up the fight early inside of Central Command that took down Hutch, and it opened up the fight to where Burnt Peanut had to try to play hero. But we're moving into game 2. We'll see if we play a little bit slower in the early game, or maybe with our spawns, we might see some very early engagements. And here's a quick look at it. It looks like 2 teams on the right-hand side are still fairly close to each other. It's going to be Mindo, Chat, and Vivid, and Hutch's team. But otherwise, we might have a little bit of a slower start here, Taylor.
Thinking so. Well, maybe, I don't know. Gorilla, Marksman, Wildman, obviously hanging around Chap and Co. Like, that would be such a crazy fight to have off the rip. And something that might be wanted or needed, but... Again, I really think Chap, Mindo, and Vivid this time around, gosh, they're out for blood. That last one walking away with 600. Granted, they're still in third place, but they want a little bit more, and I think they're capable of a lot more. So I expect that to be the trio to truly start pushing some teams early on.
Yeah, that's a good shout. And you can see Marksman and Co. in the middle, like you were talking about. And I'm paying attention to this team on our screen right now. Again, you can see Mindo and Chap and Vivid are immediately swinging up towards Central, top middle, Central Command, on potentially Nowhere and Sammy Sucks and Budsy. So these could be 2 of the top teams potentially taking an early fight as well. But you can see that the team on your screen right now is playing extremely slow. They're peeking these angles. They don't want to get punished again for it, and I think that's the right way to play it. Again, with 5 teams on the map, there's a bit more room to breathe in Space City. But once you get into some of these hot areas, of course, get real spicy real quick. So slow peeking. Looks like Gingy's running the R93, still a great option in the sniper category. As we take a look at the team at the top, playing Overwatch position. It's kind of a classic power position on the map where you can get a bunch of information, see teams potentially rotating to you, peeking teams over the bridge, which it looks like potentially there is one. But patience a virtue, and patience we will continue to have as we have a great free cam perspective, as it is Mindo, Chap, and Vivid that decided to rewrap back to the southern side of this bridge and don't get punished for it completely. But now they know, yo, we got people holding us from on high as per the usual, and we could potentially get a little bit of a reprieve if we were able to hit one, but we can't really take this fight. I don't love this position from them at all. I don't think they do either. I'll be curious to see if they decide to wrap out of here, potentially push into the southern side of the map and leave Sammy Sucks for a bit on high. But again, slow playing this the best they can and taking quite a bit of fire. Not sure exactly what they want to do here. This is a tough position. This happens so often on this map, too. You can get pinned down underneath this bridge, and it also is kind of signal flare from anybody else in the area that could potentially come third party. But a nice smoke and run, get to cover, and then reassess, try to figure out what they're going to do.
I think that means both good teams are probably outside if you're getting shot there by it.
No, I don't think Dorms is a good team.
Okay.
They broke my helmet, so...
The way they would... Yeah, that guy was like sitting and like slow tapping a full rifle. I think Dorms is a noob team. You think the command team is good?
I couldn't tell.
They were just watching first.
Seems
So
like
we think... I'm 100%
they were
that
3 men
Dorms
playing
team could
bulletproof, so like...
Yeah, okay. I think Dorms is noob. I think command is good. So we have one noob, one good, like south of us then, probably?
I love these cards from this team. I mean, this is what they want to do. This is what they're strategizing around. They know who the top competition is on paper, quote unquote. Those that have been grinding Space City a ton potentially. They're saying essentially that the team in Dorms they're not that worried about. Here's the problem. You may call them a noob. You may call them whatever you want. Watch out for burnt peanut, all right?
I'm saying.
I've seen Hutch do some unspeakable things on broadcast against top Delta Force players. I mean, this is not a noob team by any stretch of the imagination. They might play a bit differently than this team is expecting. Doesn't mean they're noob, though.
Are you sure that was printing?
No, dude, Hutch is the GOAT. Again, I've been watching him for many, many years at this point in time. Guy is serious. Guy is serious. I mean, he was at the top of baseball. You don't get at that point. Okay? You don't get to that point by being a noob, okay? Bottom line, period.
Yeah, and I think same could be said for Sacriel's squad on the left-hand side. Sacriel literally won the last show match tournament we did. I think he was playing with Shroud, if I remember correctly, and they won the whole thing. So you know, you can call him whatever you want, but let's see what happens. You know, let's leave it on the map.
Leave it on the map, dude. But they were using fucking. Let's face it, calling him a noob, but you only have 600K at the moment. Okay, so you need a little bit more. Right now, you're in third place.
I mean, we have this.
Now you're in third place. Marksman and crew could be looking at you as the noobs. Bottom line, period. That's what I'm thinking.
That literally just made me snort.
Yo, hold up.
You are throwing some mad shade on broadcast, and I actually just snorted. That was crazy.
It's sunny out here, baby. Got to throw some shade.
Oh, man.
We gotta go the long way.
I love operations tournaments like this because there is like a lot of slow play.
Just in case.
And we can just have a ton of fun on broadcast.
Kind of all I'm here for is the fun part, bro. Can't have fun. Come on.
Yeah, and it looks like, okay, so this is the team we were talking about.
Last time I played this map at that spawn, 3 squads all spawned in that courtyard. It was nuts.
What the hell?
See, that's what I'm talking about, Deadly. The spawns are very close together, and I like it that way. There's some really fun, aggressive starts, but with 5 teams, it's worked out to where they're not immediately fighting. And I was going to say, this team does look like they're kind of lurking in and around dorms and kind of just cleaning up this area, doing a few contracts, and potentially going to pick up some information, but they are not in any hurry to leave. Still have plenty of time on the clock. Most everybody playing a hair slower this time around.
Team sand.
They're coming to you. Okay. Coming.
Oh, do we have a fight?
I'm gonna look under or get up with you guys.
Pop your PKs and shit.
Was it Vivid and crew who was also in this area? No, Vivid and crew are more mid.
They were. Yeah, they were. And then they wrapped out to the south side of the bridge.
Oh, Dart! Yeah, that's gonna be a guy. That's a real guy. That's gonna be a real guy.
Bro, Peanut is always so hype. Love the guy.
I got this. I got this. Using my ability. Wrong ability.
What did he do? He used his ability. What was that?
That's he was trying to do his like knockdown charge and instead boost it out into the open. Luckily, he doesn't get punished for it. That is comedy.
He had enthusiasm, bro. That's all that counts.
Shoot through that little.
Oh, you can't. You can't. I already tried twice. You cannot shoot through this little thing on the left.
Okay.
Only the big gap.
If I can just get a pick.
What was the goal?
If we get one down, I can get in there.
Just
and smoke.
Let's get one pick.
He's still right here. I see him right here in this window.
And that's nowhere Sammy and crew who's up ahead, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the team currently in first place. Meanwhile, Burnt Peanut and his crew are still at 0. So this theoretically is a high-stakes fight. I think more so for Burnt Peanut and crew. Well, actually, really for Nowhere and them. If they end up dropping here from first place and giving an opportunity for Burnt Peanut and the crew to catch up, that could be big. They have nothing to lose. Burnt Peanut and the crew have literally nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah.
He's teasing me. I've shot a mag out. Have not hit anything yet. I'll keep you posted. Gotcha.
I think they're double checking that you can't. There's no bullet penetration through these walls or windows, and that is correct.
Yeah, watch our flank in case we get third.
I got it.
And this is a little bit more akin to what I expected on some of these fights. Very slow fights. You can see that Nowhere doesn't seem to be any sort of worry. He and Budsy just holding this fight, not worried that they're going to lose this fight. Even 2v3 just because they have such a powerful position. And it looks like Sammy's actually the one that's just double checking the back of the map, trying to pick up any audio cues. And it sounds like
Let these teams fight.
he thinks there's a team flanking.
They're on zip.
And I think he's right.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. Yo, Sammy, chill, dog.
Sammy's out for blood. Butsy's down. Sammy a little bit weak, trying to recover. Nowhere. Also in a different area. So Sammy, through the smoke, needs to disengage, get away. Will do exactly that, manages to at least stay safe. Question is, can they get Budsy back on his feet? Meanwhile, Mindo is also down. Vivid and Chap also in recovery mode.
5 seconds, 4, 3. Maybe go on the front.
Wow. Okay, so we've got obviously the two fighting inside. The fight with Hutch's team actually opened up the window of opportunity for Chap and Co to rotate in. A crazy shot from Sammy, even the Tides, because you did see that Sammy's squad lost one. But then you also see the fourth party, which is going to be Sacriel's team swinging around and getting involved. Nowhere being cut down here.
Yeah.
Let's do a listen in on this fight and see what they're talking about, because they've got a lot of decisions to make in this fight.
Yeah, I'm chasing him.
High call scan.
He just outside me. God damn, bro. He's on the stairs top. Can he peek me right now or no?
No. He's running. I'll take my cheater helmet off.
He may have a helmet right there.
Yeah, dropping you on the ground right here.
You're one chop still.
I got high call scan mid fight. I thought I was below me.
Yeah, they're at this door.
Okay.
I think they're going.
I have cheater helmet on, so.
We also have the team sand. I think
from sand right now. Yeah, peeking from sand.
Oh, here's a look at the other side. It does seem like they've got a lot of information, and albeit Sammy hit a crazy shot, this could open up the leaderboard by a dramatic amount if Sammy gets cut down and he's just playing as slow as humanly possible, letting them fight.
Yeah, Sammy helplessly in the corner. Can't
push.
really do much here. Now, this fight has been going on for some time, at least on this perspective. Burnt Peanut and the crew backing away, but not by much. That entry point has been a hot contention for quite some time. No shots connecting, unfortunately, but you know, you can't push through that. I mean, it's just so tough. You go through it, you're funneling in through one choke point, so the battle almost has to stay exactly where it's currently at. The good news is nobody's died, though, so all three are going to be up. A lot healthier than some of the rosters we've seen. Again, rest in peace, Sammy. Last up, I don't believe your teammates are going to be able to get back in the fight.
Yeah, I mean, if you're... I mean, this has got to be Mindo's squad that's holding them now in the same power position that Sammy was. And here's the overlook position from Chap.
They're just stuck.
And it looks like Sacriel's team, that's who's on the other side of this, I assume. And it's just kind of poking and prodding at each other. Ton of information. This team has wrapped on top, taken the team out of power position, and now holds it. And as long as they hold these crosses correctly, I mean, they're going to be in power position for a while. Reminder, obviously, left-hand side, 17 minutes. And, oh, no. Bad timing. Gentlemen, no smokes on the rep. You know he's holding on high. You see him look away for a moment. You try to make a move. And unfortunately, that is going to be a double kill for Chap. There's going to be one more alive behind these boxes. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Let me detect first.
That is tough.
I think the good player's behind.
There's a third.
He's right. You see that sign? He's literally 1 HP. Like that.
Barely gets away.
No, that's stupid because the team is sand.
Is it
I'm pretty sure all three are still on me.
No, I think it's Dadley. Dadley's last alive, if not mistaken. I think Pokey and Sacriel were the ones who ended up falling.
Yeah, you're right. Here's a look at that map. Deadly's kind of separated from his down teammates. They're technically downed and not. I mean, they're fully wiped here, but they still have yellow timers. I assume that's why they're still on the map. But yeah, you can see it looks like Gingy and Co have moved all the way up to basically that window to try to chow Mindo and Co. Sammy, last alive for his team, has fully wrapped out of Central now. So he's in a much safer position to play slow. And then look at where Gorilla and Co are. They said, well, we know where the game is going to end, so let's just hang out there until the game is over.
Yeah. Well, again, they're already in first place by a long shot, right? So they don't have to be aggressive. They don't need to be involved in this. They don't want to make
Like the
other team's trying to catch up or give them an opportunity. Well, and let's not forget, like you said, that's where the game's going to end, right? So for them, let them do all the work, and then they'll pick up the stragglers that are coming in. The extraction. Good shots by Chap. Chap is on fire. That's going to be a knock. This is going to be Burnt Peanuts crew, who has been at this doorway for the longest time. Now the question is, how do you get the cleanup? Well, there's going to be the mark, and Chap, unrelenting, pushing up. Good shots. That's another down. Beach is now out of the way, and I believe Peanut, if I'm not mistaken, is the last one alive for that trio. Nowhere to be found at the moment, but like I said, dude, Chat, Vivid, Mendo, angry about that 600K. So many good spots in the last game.
It doesn't matter until we.
They were out for blood in game number 2, and it is paying off. This is what I expected from this trio in game 1, but now I'm getting it in game 2. So I think 2 solos, right? Sammy and then Burnt Peanut, I believe, still left on the map. There's Sammy, and actually Burnt Peanut doesn't seem to be anywhere, so I believe that trio is fully gone. So total of 3 teams left. You got a 3v3, and then Sammy all by his lonesome.
Swap his guns with my guns too, really? His gun looks like it's not great.
Never mind then. If it's not,
Yeah, this is interesting because I think Mindo, Chap, and Co.
That's like my thing though.
Are gonna rotate now. Now's the right time. They just wiped 2 squads in the area. I don't know that they heard the fight. It looks like it is Sammy that took down Deadly, which is who he's looting right now. So he's just trying to maximize his loot value. That's why he's talking about swapping guns with his opponent, even if it's not a gun that he prefers. Because you need the loot value, and whatever loot you bring in doesn't count. And yeah, that's right. Rat your way out. Now, here's a quick look, by the way, I believe at a replay of one of those fights. It's looking like this is Sammy catching Deadly by surprise, just finds the right angle, is able to wipe him quickly. And I think with the 2-tap there, I doubt Mindo and Chap and Co heard those shots because they were in a fight around the same time. So while they're firing their weapons on the other side, wiping Burnt Peanut's team, or at least mostly wiping their team, it does look like Vivid, Mindo, and Chap are just going to rotate to the south. Now, we've got an interesting situation in our hand because, yes, it's the same 3 teams as the first time around, but they're in dramatically different situations. Sammy sucks. He's last alive for his team with a decent amount of loot, just trying to rat his way to an extract. Squad on your screen is extremely healthy, and then Gorilla Squad, extremely healthy, and they've been hanging out on the extraction point since the beginning of the game. And the difference, I think, that's worth mentioning here, Taylor, is the squad on your screen right now, theoretically, I assume, not seeing anything from Mindo, but his teammates likely, have a crazy amount of loot value from all of the wipes that they just took.
Oh, yeah.
And so now they're in the power position to figure out how they want to play this in fight. Gorilla's now on the opposite side of the equation as map 1, saying, we have nothing. So we have to get these kills and loot and then get out, or at the very least, stop the teams that have already gotten the kills and the loot from getting out like we did last time.
Mm-hmm.
He's like stuck there now.
What's the chances Sammy plays spoiler here? for any reason at all. Just pulls off a miracle peanut play from game 1, nearly gets a 1v3.
We're out of the game.
He doesn't... Give me the over-under.
What the 12
I think he doesn't shoot his gun.
Like,
unless it's absolutely wide open.
Gotcha.
And then still take it, you think? Yeah, maybe
a man can dream. Come on, Sammy. I believe in you. But yeah, the focus is obviously on the trio versus trio here. Gorilla versus Chap's crew.
Putting on cheater helmet now.
Yeah,
which, dude, Chap and them, by the way, they're on fire. Like, they've heated up. I wonder if Marksman and the crew have kind of cooled off a bit. Kind of hanging out for the past, 21 minutes or so?
Yeah, they knew there was a team hanging out here. They knew they were missing a team. Let's listen to their comms on this push. I think this is going to be a fun one. See how aggressive they get. I think they're trying to make sure that they don't get caught in transition, and that's exactly what's happening. Going to play the low ground.
I'm going to stay here and send a dart along the bridge towards Rocket side. I have it right now.
We need to know where they all are.
I'm going to have a shot there.
We got to hurry this up.
Doing it now.
Be going parkour. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear him close.
Yeah.
It's under.
Yeah. They're PKing.
I didn't get hit by that.
I didn't either.
I did. I'm doing push-ups. It's them. It's them.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I see him. I see him.
Don't shoot yet. Chap's down in a bad spot right here.
Come this way. He's sniping on the right side of the semi truck.
I'm not peeking, not peeking, not peeking, not peeking, not
I'm
peeking.
not peeking anything.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not peeking anything. Hold that body.
He's on green ping exactly.
We need to be worried about that other side, that south side of the bridge underneath. Really.
My trap's over there. He still got it. He still got it. He still got it.
All right, some really good comms there, and obviously a great pick. Unfortunately, Chap just misread, I think, where his opponents were holding, got information about the players on top of the bridge or Gorilla on top of the bridge, and maybe thought there was an angle for him to get through.
For a kill here. I feel like
and
you need to win anyway. It's risky,
a
but
brutal spot, and it sounds like they're going to play for a kill, so we'll listen to this side of the comms as well, because they're not getting that revive anytime soon.
you want to try to just push the...
literally send Gorilla.
Yeah, I'm down.
But like you have to cross that gap.
Doing a scan right here. You ready?
Enemy right there.
Okay, I didn't scan him. I did. You want to try?
Holding on the lift. Holding on lift. If you guys jump peek lift.
Ready? Peeking.
Now zip up. Zip up. Let's go kill Gorilla. He's to the right. Nice.
I'm healing full.
1 minute and 30 seconds on my body.
Extremely well played from this duo, and great comms. I think it was from Chap there. And on the other side, you heard Gorilla and Co talking basically, hey, don't take any peeks we don't need. We have player advantage, right? Don't give away your position, or at the very least, don't get sniped out of that position. But once the recon arrow was up and they realized that Gorilla was on high by himself, as long as they could make the cross across the street, which they were somehow allowed to do,
Coming down to you.
they were easily able to take that fight, and now it's a 2v2.
I'll shock the tunnel. You pick his body up. Sure.
That was beautifully executed. Great shot. Oh, person to the right.
One's far.
And you heard the comment a little bit earlier, too. They said they were going to play for kills, right? So, I mean, they want to be aggro here. They've been aggro since literally the first minute of map number 2. And that aggression hasn't truly stopped. They've been controlling. Chap might be back up. Gorilla being up top. Don't think he's going to get back in the fight. So I think this is now going to turn into a 3v2. And quite honestly, this could be the highest scoring game. Obviously, it's only map 2, but I really do think they're about to walk away with a meteoric amount of loot.
Yeah, that was just a misstep from Gorilla's team, frankly. They know they had the cross. They had the body in a really bad position for Vivid's team.
I just scanned him.
Chap was down and out, but now Marksman's been knocked as well. And because they allowed him to cross and take down Gorilla, they were just able to get that body out of a bad position, put him in cover, and now it's a 3v2, like you said, and now 3v1 even. If they're able to clean up this knock, I mean, a tough spot. I mean, they were hanging out in this position for a good reason. They set up well to hold the extract, but
close one.
Just so well executed from this trio. And there's the cleanup in the bushes. Wild man out of here. Wow, what a finish.
So is that all 3, or is there still a solo left?
No, that was a full 3. You could see the headshot came through, and they didn't go revive. They didn't go into rescue me mode. It was a full wipe, and so here's all of the loot they're going to be able to swap out with. Now this is huge because Sammy Sykes is alive. He could, I guess, technically play spoiler here. If Sammy 1v3s, I eat a shoe on broadcast and I retire. I think I retire. I think I'm done. But if they let Sammy get out, Vivid, Chap, and Mindo are allowing a ton of points to be added to the leaderboard to a team that's already ahead of them. So, I mean, it is still important. I will say Vivid, Chap, and Mindo are going to jump up this leaderboard dramatically after this one.
Oh, yeah.
As long as they're able to get out.
So, I mean, they've essentially taken down every single player in map 2. Maybe minus a couple. But
yeah,
like
I think they exchanged blows. Yeah, I think they exchanged blows with a couple, and you're right. They've really cleaned up this map. The thing is, I don't think they looted those bodies too much. It didn't look like they were playing with other people's gear. They were more focused on playing with their own gear, which I think is fair. They like what they brought in, but you're missing out on crazy amount of loot value on some of the other bodies. So I'll be curious to see what their total is going to be. You can see Sammy's at about 3.3 mil right now.
I'm thinking close to 10.
I mean, I'd say at least 10, especially with the full 3 wipe there at the end. That actually set them up really well. Because that alone, those bodies alone, they're bringing in really good loot. I mean, you're looking at 10 million from those bodies, and if they didn't take anything from anybody else they killed, then that's going to be their total. But
Yeah, it's just so unfortunate that Sammy is about to take all 3 down and walk away with all the loot.
And make me retire on broadcast. Yeah,
I got plenty of shoes to eat. If you just tell me which one you want.
I need to start boiling edible shoe right now.
Bro, yo, that is diabolical. I don't even want to think.
I'm gonna tell my wife to start up the kettle.
Oh no. Yo, Sammy is about to clutch up.
Look at his chat. Look at his chat. Inza, channel your inner rat.
I'll just swap the gun.
Yeah.
For mine.
I'm ready for this.
I have his scope is in his rig. I took it off just before you swapped it.
Sammy sucks? Nah, Sammy clutch. Okay, all day, every day. What are we doing here, Linda? You're getting wild.
Let me detect.
Well, this smoke line was thrown up by Sammy, so Sammy is on the run in a 3v1. I don't know if it's a mistake because he is just trying to get out of here. I think he's actually going to go no backpack extract if I'm reading the map correctly. And he's just sprinting for his life. Yeah, look at him. Go, Sammy, go. Run, my man. The no backpack extract is on the backside of this. So I think he's going to get out if they don't push it immediately. They got to know where he's trying to get to. Holy cow.
Yeah, but they're checking every corner.
No
Here
way.
We go. Extract, get out. Sammy clutch, baby. Let's go, Sammy.
Are we blind?
Are you kidding me? Okay, it's not a 1v3.
How are we that bad?
Not a 1v3, but honestly, that's the best case scenario right there, getting out. Oh, that's awesome. Good stuff, Sammy. Good stuff.
That's
the rich will
ridiculous.
get richer. Yeah,
Hey.
that's awesome.
Leaderboard wise too, that's a huge win. I mean, that was a 3.3 mil extract. I think they might have had or I know he had at least 1 kill. Let's call it a 3.5 mil extract. And they were already halfway up the leaderboard at about 3.5 mil. They're going to be around 7 mil. They're going to be well within striking distance of obviously Team Bravo, who got full wiped, still going to be sitting around 8.5 mil. And then the team on your screen right now, who's going to jump from 600K to probably, 10.5 mil or something like that. Huge win from Sammy. Holy.
All right. I'm
massive win.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, they'll probably drop down to 3rd place, but I mean, the score is going to be very, very tight from 1st to 2nd to 3rd. It's anybody's ball game. 2 more maps after this. Like, come on. This is getting awesome.
I can fit a DAR.
Absolutely awesome.
Good stuff. That was crazy from Sammy. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, nice pull. Little extra loot. This is why you pay attention and you actually loot stuff. Right? I know we're very combat heavy today, but a quick little gold bar. I think it's around like 250K or so. Nice win.
4.5, nearly 4.5. Wow. Endo is kitted up.
2 minutes.
Yeah, and they're going to get out just in time in the rocket launch here. So quick reminders, by the way, this is our last Space City map of the day. We're going to Zero Dam next. And this team going to be able to get out. I think they said they have around 4 mil apiece. So pushing more like 12 mil or so just from this extract. They had 600K in the first one. So they're going to be at the top of the leaderboard by a decent margin, but still within striking distance from many of the other teams.
And the elims, too. Let's not forget that.
Yep, they've got plenty of elims from this map, and they're getting the 150K bonus for extracting via the rocket. So yeah, this is a banger of a map for this trio.
Well,
yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, Goj. Super happy this trio did as well as they did because I called it at the beginning. I just felt it. I thought they were gonna go nuts. That map 1, so much lost potential. So much lost potential. That they were going to capitalize whenever it came to game number 2. And chat was critical, Dale. I saw you in chat. 3rd place, 600K, team washed. This team, they can't do it. Now they jump up to 1st place. What do we think about that? Well, potentially crazy. 1st place. I'm thinking anyways. I think, what, like 12 million?
Yeah, they're going to be in first place. I do think, again, because Sammy was able to get out, he's going to be right. The top three are going to be very close to each other. I think top will be the team that does eventually extract, of course, via that rocket launch. They're in Space City. They win the map, which, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, when you win the map, you're likely going to walk out with somewhere around like 12 to even up to 20 million if they looted correctly throughout the course of that map. But very well done from that team to win the map and get out with the most loot. So they're going to have a massive value on their leaderboard. Again, about 12.5 mil, but they also got a ton of kills. That's going to add another million or so to their total based on the amount of kills they got, 200k per kill. And then they also got the 150k bonus from extracting via the rocket launch, which was a part of this map. So yeah, about as good as it was going to get for that team. But again, I think for the rest of the squads, Guerrilla Squad decided to play a little bit slower this map because they had such a banger of the first map, and they got punished, unfortunately, with the way they set up on bridge overlooking the helipad extract. So it was pretty interesting to see kind of the dichotomy of, hey, we're ahead, let's play more defensively. And then from Mendo Squad, hey, we're behind, let's play more aggressively. And aggressive seems to pay off every single time, apparently.
Every single time? Well, at least at this moment.
So far.
So far. That's right, so far. Yeah, I think they just cooled off a bit too much. Marksman, Wildman, Guerrilla just camping as long as they did. It worked in game one. It was very apparent that it was the winning strategy. But in game two, I just felt that there was so much momentum from Mendo, Chap, and Vivid. Way too much momentum. I don't know how many eliminations they were able to acquire, but I know it was several because they nearly had their hand in almost every single fight. I do believe, at least early on. But it was good. It was great to see. We look at our replays, and I want to see. I think it was. Do we? Hopefully, we have Hutch in there popping his ability. Damn, we actually do. Yo.
Yeah, this is a funny moment of trying to figure out which button does what for Viren, but a great that snap by Sammy made me literally almost stand up in my chair. Unfortunately. Team gets punished for it, and then this was a frustrating one to watch. Unfortunately, Sacriel and Co down below actually were doing a pretty good job of making sure not to lose their lives, and then finally I think they just thought he had fully backed away from the window rather than just ducking down, so they tried to make a cross, get punished for it. Here's another swing by Chap's team, able to get another free cleanup. And then Sammy able to pick up Deadly, so you're gonna add another extra 200k to his total. And then finally, this was the fight that was wild. This team knocked Chap here out in the open. Sure. Guerrilla's team had the advantage, but because they didn't group up from here, Guerrilla by himself, they pushed up the ladder. Nobody held them on the cross. They were able to wipe Guerrilla. It was a 2v2. They didn't get the res. 3v2, the opposite side. And then, of course, this team ends up wiping and winning the team fight overall. So a great effort, of course, from everybody involved, but it was Mendo, Chap, Vivid on top by a sizable margin in this map because of very well, slow, but aggressive at the same time, executed plays. And I was impressed, of course, with Sammy's ability. Smoke and run, my man. It ain't that difficult. Sometimes you just run for the extract as fast as humanly possible and get the heck out of Dodge. The Goblin King on top. A nice little grab here with the gold bar to finish things off as the boys extract from the rocket to end the game. And what a fun map, Taylor.
Very fun. Very fun, man. That was map one was a little bit slower. Okay, granted, teams filling it out. We go back into the same map and then obviously the same play style, and it was a lot more energetic. Picked up quite a bit. The teams filling out the others, and I think now there's a hierarchy. The teams really understand where they currently stand. But I don't know, because things are about to open wide up going into map 3. Dude, Goes, what's about to happen? What's about to go down? And what does this next challenge mean for the players?
Well, let's talk about it here in a second because our mathematicians are moving quick. Let's take a quick look at the scoreboard, and then I'll talk to you about Zero Damn Night next. It's going to be a banger, but here's a look at it, and this is just from the last game. Our math was pretty good. They had 10 kills. You were right. They wiped just about everybody in the lobby. 10 kills is a massive point total. That's an extra 2 mil on top. So yes, it was about a 12.9 mil game, but they added another 2 mil on top, which is going to be 14.9 mil in total just from this game. Unbelievable. This is exactly what you wanted. When you win the map, you better win it in stride, and they're able to do it. 3.3 mil there for Alpha. And then, yeah, we can see the rest of it. Unfortunately, yes, Marksman was able to get that 1 kill on Chat, but only 200k. Not going to be a huge win.
Dude, that could have been crazy, though. Sammy doesn't get out. Team Alpha doesn't get any points at all. And we literally look at goose eggs essentially across the board, minus team number 1 with Team Charlie, Mindo, Chap, and Vivid. Imagine if they're the only crew to get out with any amount of loot. And Bravo, mind you, only get 200,000 because of that one elimination Marksman was able to get. So Mindo, Chap, Vivid dominate map number 2. That's why they move up to first with 15.56.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Bravo with 8.8, and then Alpha at 6.9. The top 3 very close. More importantly, number 3 and number 2 very close. But now Charlie sets the precedence. I mean, that is a ton of points. Theoretically, you know, with 2 more games remaining, they go in now to the map number 3. They play just as well, potentially. It's going to be a little bit harder. We'll talk about that. But, I mean, they might have just won the tournament based off of the points already.
Yeah, I think it's still within reach. You got to remember that there is still a lot of value that folks are going to find on the map. However, it is worth mentioning that this is actually a huge point of order, that our next map is going to change things up extremely dramatically because, well, this next one, they're moving in. They're dropping into the map with absolutely nothing. And so they're going to use anything they can find on the map to try to find a good loot, to try to find the right weapons, try to find the right armor, ammo, everything they need to succeed. You've got to start with nothing. And so because of that, now looting is way more valuable for your leaderboard, right? We've been taking fights under the understanding that if we full wipe a team, you're at least getting minimum 6 mil in loot value from that team. This time you might wipe a team and they might have 10K on them. I mean, they might have nothing. Who knows what's going to happen? This is going to totally change up our leaderboard. I think there's going to be less possibility for massive totals, but there's going to be more possibility for good RNG on your side. And you know who that's going to benefit? RNG Gingy herself, the loot queen. I mean, the amount of RNG she gets on her side is unbelievable. Watch out for that team in this map here, Taylor.
All right, fair enough. And I believe there was a hashtag Loot Goblin for Sammy as well.
That's
so
right.
a lot of Goblin references out here. So you drop in with the knife only. That's all that you can bring in. But obviously, if you find loot on the ground, though, you can obviously still use that. And that's what we're talking about with the RNG, correct?
Yeah, 100%. This is kind of your classic, hey, I've been playing for 15 hours straight. I've lost 10 million in my stash value. I am tired. I want to keep playing. This is maybe me. I want to keep playing, but I don't want to risk any of my stuff, and I just want to have fun and see if I get lucky. That's what this is. You drop in with a knife only. Your teammates usually hate you, but if your entire team's doing it, it's just a dang good time. We see streamers do this all the time, and see like a no loot run is essentially what folks usually call it. It's gonna be really fun in customs to see what they're able to do. Of course, you got to take out an AI first to get their weapon, and then from there it's, hey, we're shooting gray bullets. Can we find some blue armor? Oh wait, this is huge. We have blue armor in comparison to the 2 mil loot kits that we have. So you know, it's gonna be really fun to watch. It's gonna be a different game for sure, and it's gonna be something that I think all of our players are gonna have fun with in a kind of totally different way.
Is there any opportunity for trolling though, or maybe skirting around the rules? And the reason why I say that is the Burnt Peanut, I tuned in for just a little bit and I heard something that he was like, oh, well, technically this isn't against the rules, so I'm going to do it. I don't know what it was. So okay. I think Peanut's going to be up to something. I don't know what it is, but he's like, yeah, it's not against the rules technically, so I'm going to try it. So I don't know what that is, but Peanut's up to something.
Peanut's always up to something, all right? Peanut's always cooking up something crazy. I'll be curious to see what that strategy is, because frankly, I think if I'm doing this, I've got my knife. If I've got a decent spawn point, I am sprinting straight at admin as fast as humanly possible. Because again, people are not bringing in loot. So you have no value on your body at all. Nothing. And so where is the best value on Zerodam? It's going to be admin. That's the best place to be. Get into admin, get some of the guards down quickly, grab their ammo, grab their loot, grab their weapon, and then play for admin. I think that's the right strategy. But also, if you just get lucky finding some, great loot in barracks or something like that, or you just find a good weapon, I think could totally change the game as well. So it'll be fun to kind of see who has RNG on their side and then who's able to make the best out of, frankly, bad situation based on the loot that you're given.
Sure, RNG. You gotta love it, you gotta hate it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But if you get good RNG off the rip, like you said, admin, I'm pushing a team right away, especially knowing that if it's early goings, maybe they still have a knife and they haven't been able to get a weapon just yet. I'm taking them down as quickly as possible. which we've seen teams. You go back to map 1, what 3 teams dropped off within 4 minutes. Is there a chance maybe we see that this time around as well? Maybe even quicker per se. Or do you expect the gameplay to be a bit slower? Because like you said, RNG. I mean, you do have to accumulate some wealth before you're able to take some health away from your opponents.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be a curious question because at the end of the day, it's like everybody's dropping in with knives. So if you spawn near somebody, which in Zero Dam it's possible, now we only have 5 teams, so there's a good chance people are going to be a bit more spread out. You don't really want to take any early fights, but you also know everybody else also has a knife. So like if you kill the AI first and get a gun, sprint at your opponents. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, you've got the advantage. This is like, you know, when we talk about just FPSs in general, which is where most of these creators come from. Some of them extraction aficionados. Some have a variety of amount of experience at even a pro level from different games. This is something that is true about every single game. If you ever have an advantage in FPSs, push that advantage the best you can, optimize it. You're always trying to take high percentage fights is what we usually call them on broadcast at an esports level. How do you take high percentage fights? You use your advantage. Sometimes that's just as simple as high ground. Sometimes that's the player advantage we keep talking about, like that Mindo fight versus Gorilla. They had player advantage and they didn't capitalize on it. Anytime you have an advantage, you're gonna have a higher percent chance of winning. In this one, if you get a gun first, push a fight if there's somebody nearby, and if there's not, of course, go loot up, make sure everybody can get involved. And you know, something else to call out, since we do have our streamers and content creators all competing today, we did a knife only challenge, which of course these players will not be using knives only for the entirety of the map. We did a knife only challenge not too long ago, and you know who won that by a sizable margin? It was Sacriel. Dude obliterated everybody. He was like a knife god. So, you know, I don't know what that's going to look like here on broadcast. Maybe Sacriel goes crazy. I would also expect to see quite a bit of hack claws. Data knife to the face will take out an AI immediately. That could clean things up as well. Yeah, there's a lot of fun nuance to this game mode. I'm just excited to get into it. And let's remind everybody at home, we're playing on nighttime here in Zero Dam. So it's going to be dark. It's going to be scary.
Spooky.
Could see some Noxes get broken out. I don't know. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited for it. Someone in chat was saying Burnt Peanut's going to be hiding in the shadows, ready to pounce on somebody, which is always going to be good. You know, if you never died to a peanut, well, now's your chance. It's going to be good. It really is. But you excite me with the Sacriel call because, you know, right now 0 points, struggling, at least on the struggle bus. There's 3 teams currently at 0, 2 more maps remaining. Now that we're going into a bit of, you know, 2 fun game modes, obviously knives now, and then to come up is going to be the Cursed Gun Challenge, which I know you'll be breaking down very shortly. Apparently, I'm hearing there's some nutty pistol builds that you can make, but more on that in just a little bit. But I'm really hoping this is the chance for those teams who are currently at 0 to get some points going, maybe break into the top 3. Only the top 3 walk away with, of course, the prizing, right? So if you're not already there, this is your chance to do so. This is what I would call the swing map. There's only 4, but the swing map, you know, and if you don't perform here, the map 4 is going to be fun, but it's not necessarily going to be a map where you can catch up to the top 3. So this is the map to capitalize on, and we'll have a little bit of fun too.
Yeah, and, you know, it's funny because you're right, this is a swing map. We've got to remember, though, this is a swing map in terms of RNG as well, because the amount of loot, like, if somebody extracts with over 10 million in loot value, you found a missile and maybe a key card. Like, I don't know how you're getting over 10 million on Zero Dam if you're not getting crazy RNG. Because these players are not bringing in any loot value, the numbers we're seeing in this map are going to be very, very small in comparison to the last couple where a team's extracting with over 15 million, basically no problem, because they wiped their opponents. So yes, it's a swing map because I think anybody could win this one, but it's also one that probably won't move the leaderboard that dramatically. So really where you're going to get a lot of value is, yes, by killing teams because of, hey, 200k per kill. If you can get 10 kills, that's 2 mil. Finding 2 mil on Zero Dam is not that difficult, but it is difficult if you're getting harried by a lot of other teams. So it's kind of this fun nuance and back and forth where we just kind of have to wait and see what's found on the map. And speaking of wait and seeing, it's time for game number 3. Let's hop into Zero Dam. Let's hop into the night itself and see what operators people are deciding to choose. And already a great spawn from, it looks like Gorilla, Wildman, and Marksman, who are going to be first to admin, likely being harried by Hutch & Co.
All right, they want to retake first.
Wait, look at Visitor Center. There's 2 teams in Visitor Center, and they got to figure out how are they going to fight each other.
That's where we need to be. That's where we need to be. Obviously, Gorilla and them, they're going to just loot up, and they're going to be just fine. But Visitor is where the engagements are about to go down. That's where I want to be. You see how dark it is outside, by the way? From what I was hearing, Peanut has his monitor brightness all the way up. The dude is literally burning his retinas just so he can see a little bit better in the shadows. But it's dark. Jump scares could very well be a real thing. And well, for the team on your screen, they were all about jump scares in game number 2. Obviously, lighting perfectly fine there, but man, they were slaying out first place at 15 point something million. And this very well could be the map to, I don't know, potentially get even richer, which would be pretty incredible for themselves. But hey, they're out in the middle of nowhere. They've got plenty of time to loot up and kit up. But yeah, seeing that early, or seeing those potential early engagements, going to be pretty fun over at Visitor.
Yeah, and it does look like Mindo, Vivid, and Chap said, we do not want this fight. Like, if we get wiped here because they got a gun before us, we lose our lead on the leaderboard potentially. So, yes, we said it's knives only, but this team already with the Sea Gleam bundle, yes, they can use axes instead. And that's what they're deciding to go for.
Right here in front of us, warehouse.
Hello.
We have a high value target.
Hey, we got some loot. It happens to be an M870, but loot is loot. We take those.
I mean, I'd rather have an M870 versus a knife. Which one are you taking in a fight?
I don't know. That Seagley Max just looks so dang cool that I might try to use the axe.
Oh, marksman down. Things are getting weird. Admin. Well, is it probably to an NPC, we assume?
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. Marksman got taken down by a soldier, unfortunately.
Good, right?
Still down though.
Can Gorilla handle it then? That's.
I mean, we're gonna probably need your heals here, Paul. Yeah. But keep holding it down. I'm resing him.
Yeah, we're chilling.
I'll be able to repair.
Let me res
We're getting back, baby. And I think they're still the only team in admin as well. So, looking pretty good. They're gonna be just fine. Just fine. Saw the map briefly.
I need his heal.
And yeah, that right side, but near substation.
Oh no.
It could be quite busy.
This is what I was talking about though. Everybody is sprinting at admin right now. I mean, maybe not sprinting, moving towards admin. Looks like Sacral and Co potentially not sprinting, but yeah, this is gonna get weird real quick. Marksman is back on his feet. They do have some weapons though. Ammo is going to be the problem.
Yeah. Connect every shot. Connect every shot. Oh, Chap and them are about to get pincered, by the way.
Dude, the sniper is shooting.
About to get pincered.
I scanned someone. I don't know where.
They are right in the middle of 2 rosters. Marksman's kind of far out there, but still not so far that he won't be able to join his roster.
Coming in.
Yellow. Careful.
He's looking at Gorilla's overhead map. I'm like, where's the other teams? Well, it's because his overhead map. He doesn't know. We know that because we have the overhead map. Knocked down, and already the first one out. Chap also down. I told you, they're getting pincered. Things are about to get weird. And with the smokes added in with the nighttime, and a burnt peanut also surrounding you potentially, things are about to get weird. A burnt peanut, by the way, last one up, I do believe, for this roster. And the guns are out, and that's going to be a double down.
One more.
Where is Peanut? Oh, what a brutal fight. I don't know. Maybe they thought their opponents were on the other side. I mean, it's nighttime. It is hard to see.
Oh, there's Peanut.
Piggy, where? I can't see him. I got to turn my brightness up.
He saw Mindo.
Yeah, that's a wipeout.
Oh.
That's a wipeout.
Yeah, wow, nice wipe. This is the thing that we didn't talk about too much is that obviously, based on the operator abilities that you decided to use, you're going to have a huge boon using some of your equipment to get eliminations in this style of mode where you don't have anything else really to do to get those kills with. It looks like out of ammo now after that fight, but that is a full team wipe.
Good fucking shots right there, bro. You out-heard them hell.
I was listening into Hutch's comms. He's just juiced that he down Chap. That's what he's celebrating the down on the Chap. Little victories. They're laughing about it. They're having a good time. No harm, no foul. They're just happy to be here, and that's what it's all about. So Chap, Vivid, Mindo, potentially a major fight brewing up against the second place team currently, which would be Marksman Wildman and Gorilla. This definitely would be the fight to watch. Whoever wins this would pretty much, well, either be catching up to first or maintaining first, even more so. Who do you favor if they do end up
Basement.
tussling with each other, do you favor Chap and them or Wildmen?
I think Chap and Co. I mean, they've just proven to be the best team here today thus far. It really depends on loot, though. Unfortunately, Chap, Mindo, Vivid, they don't really have any ammo or weapons or really anything at this point because they spent all of their ammo. That M16, that blue M16, decent, obviously, but he's got 3 bullets and a dream right now. And you know how I was talking about how some of these teams were like what I called giga sweats, a little bit of a gamer term for a broadcast, but we'll take it. Yeah, I mean, look at Sammy. His stash value is almost 350 million, all right? If you don't think this guy's giga sweat, I don't know what you're thinking. And yeah, I was going to say, production just said, I got to read this out. This brightness is cranked, and you're exactly right. I mean, look at it. You can see a little bit more. He turned his brightness all the way up. I respect it.
Yeah, you can. No dark spots here. Oh, and the flashlight's actually blinding, though. I'm not going to lie. With the brightness cranked.
Yeah, and it's one of the things they added to the nighttime mode here is that the enemies have flashlights on their weapons. So all of the AI on the map are going to have some different nuances when they're playing in the darkness. And one of those is that most of them have that flashlight on their weapons. So most everybody will have that if they want to light it up. Of course, that'll give away your position, but nice. Oh, wait,
on
look.
the bottom right, by the way, things are starting to get a little dicey and spicy.
Yeah, this could
Sacriel
be...
nowhere.
Bandages.
This could be a huge swing by Sacriel and Deadly to just make a big play. It's going to be a 2v3 because they lost their third, but at least they know where their enemy is.
You hyped up Sacriel, so I'm expecting some big plays.
No. Oh, where we came from, where we came from.
230.
Oh, the callouts are in.
A line that heads towards them.
They're about to go for it.
I see the operator ability.
They're in there somewhere, I think. Oh, they're running out on the... They're running around in there, I hear them.
The problem is I'm just making too much damn noise.
Yeah, my character is too.
Yeah, and it does look like you could hear their comms.
Yeah, they put down
Deadly's hurt already.
I'm going to try to regroup with you, Sacro.
So because of that, yes, he's playing Stinger, which is a huge boon because he's going to be able to keep himself up. We see a lot of people going for Stinger. But they're both hurt, so they have to keep Deadly up, kind of trying to heal.
I think I'm piped to flash in retreat. I can't see shit.
Yep.
Okay, I'm pushing
Same, brother.
with you. They're flashed.
Dude, he's got so much armor.
He's got the shield. Nowhere's down. Oh, nowhere's down, though. Goes, like you said, big win potentially. Big win from Sacriel.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Sammy's coming in with a blue Uzi and about to just lay waste to his opponents because they got no clue where he's at.
Okay,
and
I see what you mean.
Yeah, there's the cleanup. I think that's a full wipe. I respect, by the way, that Nowhere and Budsy both went Saniva here to be able to use those shields. That just stalled out that fight long enough to where Sammy could come in and play cleanup. That was kind of sick.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you want to go?
I mean, I think we just go back to admin.
We have extracted at least one player.
Wait, who was that? Who got out of the map already?
Wait, I thought it was Vivid, Chap, or Mindo, but am I tripping? Okay. Oh, and I think we went back. Yeah, it was Chap.
I mean, I think we just go back to admin look to kill people. I think we just grieve people. Or we extract camp.
Oh, Chap must have gotten out because he must have found something on the map that he wanted to make sure that he extracted with.
Probably,
well, they did get in some early fights, right? But yeah, it most likely is because he did find something on the map. Part of Africa, who knows? I don't know.
It's not even a bad idea.
Wait, chat, somebody help us out because we miss it here on broadcast. He found a 1.7 mil key card. Are you kidding me?
That's a W to me, baby. I'm leaving with that too, especially if I already have 15.8 million as a team. Come on.
I think we go admin then because we know.
And a LEDX. He found the Eastern Suspension Bridge key card. What in the world? I'm telling you, there's something about the customs, and I can't prove anything, The loot people are finding in these customs is crazy. Well played. Hey, it's the right move. This is what I thought they had done the other time when we couldn't see their third. This happens quite often in these kind of sweaty customs, is you see players find really good loot or get a wipe and get some really good loot, and they're kind of like, hey, let's go ahead and just put points on the board, get one out, and then our other two players can just kind of play spoiler, which is what they were talking about. Let's go play for some kills.
No.
I don't know if we should prioritize keeping him alive. I think we need to prioritize getting money.
I think you're right. Come on.
Let's go. What do you want to go to visitors?
They just arrowed this way from
Did they?
parking lot.
Shit.
Yeah. We can check to see if that's up.
Chat, let me know too. Did Vivid
There too, brother, as well.
and Mendo also find some loot? Because they were talking about extracting as well.
Yeah.
I think if they would have found any loot, they would have just put it all on
all on Chap, yeah.
All on Chap, because the keycard obviously only takes up one space. He probably, I doubt he's got room in his. I don't know if he's got room in his keycard holder, but even still, he's got plenty of room. Even if he just had a basic AI backpack, I think it's just, I don't remember what it's called, but one of these, I think it's literally just called a sling bag. Yeah. Even if you have that, you got room for more stuff. So.
You say people on you, Mendo?
Can you heal me? I'm coming over. That's
honestly Mendo at 3.8 or excuse me 380,000 is still pretty decent.
Yeah, it is.
For at least this game mode, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've all played quite a bit of Zero Dam, I'm sure, and Zero Dam normal. I mean, you can find some really good loot. Obviously, found a 2 mil key card, but anything over like 500k is not a bad game for the most part. Usually, you could wipe a team and get better than that because people are bringing in like blues and purples. But in this one, it's whatever loot you can find on the map. And hey, 1.7 mil key card, that'll do, pig.
2.1 mil for Chap. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, wow, actually pulled some crazy loot. So we're looking at it off screen right now. Keycard, LEDX, cup canister, and a couple earrings and a horn. I mean, that's great. 2.1 mil. Well done.
Crack this helmet. Bye-bye armor.
Just an employee. I thought he was getting into a fight. Off screen, by the way, some of the streamers that are out are already starting to get their pistol locked and loaded. Get their build going. They're in the range firing, seeing how well it operates. So they've got a bit of a head start. Granted, they had to risk losing a little bit earlier than they probably wanted, but they're going to be ready to go for the next map. So 17 minutes left. Chances that we go the full 17. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think, it's part of an extraction game mode. Like, if you wipe everybody on the lobby, then you have the rest of the map to loot up as much as you want. There's no reason not to, right? So it's kind of like, I think we'll go to the timer. Now, we did see during the esports competition, teams wipe each other to end the game. So a couple well-placed frag grenades during a team fight, and all of a sudden you've traded yourselves out and everybody's dead. But
yeah,
unlikely to happen given, where we're at and the loot that we have. A fun little nuance thing about no loot runs like this is that you don't really want to shoot these AI in the head because you don't want to break their helmets because you need to use them. Shoot them in the legs. Yeah, shoot them in the legs, the toes if you can. Or just go up and knife them in the face. Either way.
Armor with a PKM.
You have a backup gun?
Yep.
Minigunner in here. Hold up. I want to kill this thing. He's got decent backpack.
And this is also fun as they're trying to figure out what they want to do is, running some of these contracts is going to be huge too. Like, I think that's a great way to find some decent loot. Potentially how, I want to say, oh, nice. This is a great pull.
It's marksman.
Should be right there.
Yep. Nice. Almost a mil.
Yeah, this is a great run for them.
Purple armor, good one here.
Oh, Mendo and Vivid, I think they were marking the extraction so they can camp them.
Yeah, I mean, it makes some sense. Again, pending the loot that you find, killing your opponents is really just playing spoiler more than anything if they don't have a lot of loot.
Mine's nice.
This is more like traditional operations. Let's optimize our backpack space. What's the per slot loot value of each item?
I'm just going to scan.
Great job from that team so far.
Really?
Oh, bots down there.
Now we got 15 minutes.
Okay, it's still up. This was looted.
Oh, look at that. Marksman, Gorilla, Wildman starting to move in a bit. Get closer to Mindo and Vivid.
Camp this if we can.
Be a 2v3.
Yeah, 100%.
But again, I think Mindo and Vivid very intentionally moved to that location to camp out the teams who are potentially going to be moving up. So I think they're setting a trap,
guys.
which is ironic because the shoe was on the other foot in the last map because Gorilla and Co. were setting the trap, right? They were the ones camping it out, playing it slow. This time around, it's Mindo and Vivid.
Just do this quest.
If they can just catch a whiff, I almost favored them in the fight, but making a little bit of noise, so that should give a tip
And just get the scabs as they
to where they are for Gorilla and Co.
Like on the
Yeah, and again, this is one of those extracts. I think I want to say in normal here, it's going to be quite a bit of cash. I want to say it's at least 10,000. I'd have to take a look at it on this one. I don't remember for normals. It can be up to 30,000 to get out. So you have to do some of these
Top of the fucking switch.
tasks to get out.
I have zero faith that dude is not sitting on top of the door.
Yeah, you guys were asking who cleaned out admin. That was Gorilla, Wildman, and Marksman very, very early on. They were there at the very start of the map. Oh, they're close. They are close. And in the night, that makes things fun.
I love also that they were talking so much trash about each other. I want to say they were saying that Gorilla and Co. is going to be camping out on some high ground, but here we go. This is going to be a fun fight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at
that.
Vivid.
I do want to say, I do want to say that a 3v2 here is going to be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
In the night, given that you don't have great loot, but this team is just trying to play. This team's just trying to play spoiler.
Yeah.
And
they already got out with 2 million.
This is also pretty important because this extract. I was double checking with our admins which actual game mode we selected in customs, and it is actually normal. So it is going to be 40k to get out. So doing one task isn't going to get you out of this extraction. So it's an important one, but you could wrap to a different part of the map to extract. Probably Visitor Center would be the next easiest, but we do have the third and final team on the map there still.
Jump through the gap. Don't go through many.
Still relatively close. Nowhere. Sammy and their crew have kind of been hanging out over a Visitor, looting. No rush. They're hanging out. For Vivid and Mindo. In between the two, but there's enough distance where they're going to be just fine. There's really no rush to go anywhere outside. Granted, they do move a little bit closer towards Nowhere and Sammy, but still going to be relatively quiet. 12 minutes left. Not expecting too much to happen outside of just looting and
go all the way back to
pretty much what you're seeing on screen.
12 minutes to do whatever we want. Do you think that team?
Yeah.
I have green in my bison. It's all right.
Yeah, I wanted to listen in to see what they're doing. Looks like Sammy's got a decent loot. About half a mil was kind of what I call bare minimum for a decent extract.
Shots to our left right here too. Should we push this?
Could, yeah.
Kills is probably better.
So, by the way, just rules is written right now. We are allowing players to use safe box just to carry stuff around. If you full wipe, anything in your safe box will not count towards your loot value. But if players have stuff in their safe box, they're not penalized for it in general, if that makes sense. So, wiping these teams is going to be important. I imagine they've put some things in their safe box just to carry loot, but I think these teams are about to gauge with each other.
Yeah, I think they are. Sammy's going to be the tip of the spear, but potentially might be the first one to drop. If you're Mindo and Vivid, yeah, you want that first drop very quickly. You want to try and get a player down early on, but it doesn't happen. And now your advantage of sneaking up on the team and getting a bit of an ambush goes to the wayside. Sammy, Budsy, and Nowhere now have Mindo and Vivid's location. That early drop would have been massive, and they just nearly get it. Sammy gets below half health, but
what's the plan here?
Sammy sniffs it out and gets away. You could tell when he was coming out of that corner before he got shot, he was already pre-aiming. He kind of sniffed out there were maybe somebody up in that compound just up ahead. So they're going to reposition. Sammy almost looks like he wants to make a bit of a wide swing to potentially get an off angle. Meanwhile, Budsy and Nowhere, they're going to hang back. Does Sammy swing all the way around Vivid and Mindo?
They got Shepard.
Yeah, he could. I mean, you notice there, I think he actually probably would have dropped if he didn't have the purple armor. And he found a vest repair kit. So, like, talk about great RNG. Not necessarily, I mean, loot value, decent, but more so for these fights. Being able to take some more shots. Look at it. He's still up, though. His vest now fully broken yet again. He's not going to be able to repair it this time. I believe he used the entirety of his vest repair kit. But it allowed him to stay alive long enough to still take this fight with his teammates.
I'm popping shield up.
Okay.
Guys, if you know Chap and Vivid's history, you would understand why they have outstanding RNG. they know how to land and get looted up without question.
That's right.
Just kind of where they come from. Vivid, Mindo, still alive, holding what they got, and they can back away. So that's the good thing about their spot is obviously if they don't want to push forward, they're going to get wiped out quickly. But they can back away.
Yeah, this is such a fun map, Taylor, for so many reasons. Obviously, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch these players figure out what to do when you've got basically nothing on you. We're seeing a lot more stingers this time around because of the med problem, is what I'll call it. You know, you're not going to find a crazy amount of meds on the map unless you get quite lucky in admin. And because of that, running stinger to be able to keep yourself on your feet quickly and keep moving, not only near full health, but also just
so we go all the way south. Probably
make sure that you're not going to be suffering from broken legs, broken arms, or concussions, or anything in between.
I mean,
at least for the time that you have it up.
Maybe a flashlight, or it's just like a light. So just careful.
I'm gonna scav flashlight for sure.
Fuck, if I had my flashlight, bro, that could have fucking.
Now, I don't know that our map view here shows contracts, but I wonder if Guerrilla Marksman. I'd love to take a look at them quickly as these two teams are splitting up. I don't think we saw Wallbreaker active, but that is where you pull the Wallbreaker contract. There might be a different contract there in the nighttime mode. It doesn't look like they've got one active. I think they were just kind of looting up and... Oh, no, I think they've got yeah, they've got the like space pod here that they potentially are going to do something with, but I don't know that they got a ton of loot that we can tell yet.
Watch the other side here.
They wiped all of the AI in the area, so I think they did a contract here to make sure they had some nice cash value in pocket so they could potentially use that far extract.
Sure. Anything, you know,
what no?
Using that.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of watch the other side.
I want to say they're collectively
7 minutes left.
Like high twos. I think nearing on 3 mil.
Yeah, it's a great map. Doing well right now.
Leave my back.
Yeah,
for
not
you
bad
right
at all. What, second place?
Yeah, and this, so they did end up doing the contract. This is a contract. Oh, nice pull. Little military explosive for the lads. They're doing great right now. Playing slow on the map. Picking up some solid loot. And they're still working on a couple of these contracts because they've got time. They're in probably the best spot out of any team, even with Chap getting out with about 2 mil. This team's doing great. And this contract, I believe, now that I remember correctly, and seeing all the AI bodies on the ground in the capsule, this is a contract that is specific to the nighttime mode of Zero Dam that they just finished up.
Okay. Let's go.
They're able to wipe that up, get some nice loot out of it, figure out where they want to go from here. I think they're potentially going to do one more contract and then maybe take that south location now that they have the cash to get out. Because again, it takes 40k. We are playing a normal, I confirmed that, and so it's 40k to get out on the southern extraction there. Or they could wrap all the way down to the southwest potentially and get out for free if that one is open.
I have to empty my safe box.
I think Southwest is still open.
Empty your safe box too.
I don't know if we're allowed to use it.
That would be the best. Obviously, we've watched from Visitor Center in between Visitor and Substation, that compound. I believe
a heal.
Vivid and Mindo are still camping that location, being kind of held back a bit. Or I guess maybe holding off Sammy Budsy and Nowhere. Because to my knowledge, they haven't engaged each other again.
Yeah,
as we take a look. So yeah, Budsy and them have backed away. Mindo is all the way over on the left-hand side. So Guerrilla Marksman, Budsy, Sammy, potential 3v3 happening very, very late. And map number 3 with just 5.5 minutes remaining, we might still see some fireworks.
Yeah, and this is obviously playing around the Visitor Center extraction. Pretty common free extraction to get out of the map. And it makes sense. I mean, it looks like Mindo and Chap are kind of playing that southwestern extraction that I was talking about.
Oh man.
Potentially just locking that down in case there's a team fight and they can take some out along the way.
He's never seen one before. This is it.
This shit is
Marksman calling for the RNG gods to be on his side. And potentially pick up a Heart of Africa and Visitor Center. What they don't know is that, I think there's going to be a full team of 3 over here.
Yeah.
Still have more bird nest over here. One more.
Dude, I want this fight to break out so badly.
Oh, no one took paid yet.
Yeah, and they're taking a look at the map to figure out where either they could extract from, which they are obviously holding down the visitors' extraction, or did any other team extract yet? So they are slowly but surely waiting for this team to creep up into their sight lines here.
Okay. Not a surprise.
That was Chop. That was Chop.
Neither of these teams know that they're about to run into each other. This is about to get real dicey, folks. Collectively hold your breath right now.
All right, you can get someone from here. There they are.
Laying down.
Oh, all right. There's the information. And with the information out, Vivid and Mindo on the other side of the map are going to get out. And back at Visitor Center, here we go. They've got the info. They know there's a team camping this extraction. And the question is, how do you take this fight now that you have that info? Mindo and Chap are out with probably another couple 100K between them. It's like a 2.3, 2.5 mil game.
I don't know where they're at. They're in the grass
for the trio that was in first place. A nice kind of average, actually probably a little bit above average game. This team is going to match that, though, if they're able to all get out.
Whatever he has.
2 teams of 3. The final fight of the map with 3 minutes.
That shit lasered me.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. It's been quiet for too long.
Starting over.
Now it's time to risk it all. Plenty of money to be gained, especially if you're facing off against Marksman, Wildman, and Gorilla. They've got several million ready to go, ready to get out with. Take them down. That puts you up potentially in top 3. And that's where obviously you want to be if you want to walk away with some prizing. So it's going to be chaotic for the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I don't expect Mindo and Vivid to join into this engagement. So it's just going to be this 3v3.
Yeah, they got out. Okay. Yeah, they went out on the southwestern side of the map as expected. They kind of waited till the last minute, realized nobody was coming, and they said, okay, let's just get out. So well done from that team. But this is the 3v3 fight at Extraction. They got to win this fight. Here's a push. Sammy out alone by himself, taken down. 2v3 now. That's the right call. Just go ahead and get him out of the lobby. Sneva up on the rooftop. Hello. Welcome to the party. Shield bash to the face, maybe. Watch out.
Yeah, I'm nading.
Couldn't even see. Oh, down is Budsy. So what? There's one more. Oh, a chance. Armor's broken.
Wow.
Nowhere gone.
Nice
Budsy also out, and I believe that is it, if I'm not mistaken.
Knocked down Sneva.
Unless Sammy's up.
This is just a quick look back, a slight delay of that fight, nading each other out, marking it, and then a nice well-placed frag, well played across the board. They got plenty of time to not only all 3 stay alive, but also loot all these bodies for anything that they have. What a win. Nice play here to fight a team kind of holding this extraction point. This is the team currently, I believe, in 2nd overall.
And check your safe.
So this is going to be a huge value.
Yeah, big. They need to catch up, too, because
Armor's balls.
with Chap's early exit with, what, 2.1 million? We don't know exactly what Mindo and Vivid got, but I mean, you could expect maybe potentially upwards of 3-4 million, maybe 5 million, putting them close to 20 million in total score. Some catching up is needed, and this is obviously going to help, because going into this game, I believe they were sitting around 8 or so million.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big game for what could have been small numbers across the board. You're right. I do think you're going to see Chap, Mindo, and Co. get out with a total of around 3 million. I don't know that Vivid and Mindo picked up a crazy amount of loot.
Yeah, I don't think.
And so now it's like, how can you? I mean, this is a game of Tetris. I mean, this is how do you optimize in 48 seconds the body they had versus what you have in a tiny backpack and a tiny chest rig. But overall, a great map for them. I think this team is going to get out with somewhere around the neighborhood of 4 mil, probably between the 3 of them, maybe a hair higher.
Yeah,
which is a great map on Zero Damn Normal. I'm not gonna lie.
That's all I could
yeah,
really
not bad
take.
at all. Not bad at all. And set yourself up nicely going into the 4th and final game, which is going to be same map, same nighttime, which I was a fan of. That was it was fun. See those teams crawling around, never knowing what's going to be or who's going to be in the corner, who's ready to just jump out at you. It was exciting. This time, though, they won't have knives, they'll have guns. But that was fun. I had a really good time. And it's funny that chat is, again, mentioning Chap and Vivid, good RNG, good loot path. Like, that's just what they do. And clearly it's working out. So that trio seriously in first place. Map 4, it's going to come down to that. Who can dethrone them?
Yeah, that was a fun one. It was difficult to see. The nighttime mode changes things quite a bit, especially when you go in with knives only. I mean, that felt like a horror game, like totally different experience than what we saw in Space City. So well done for the teams that were able to stay alive. Now, moving into the next map, before we get there, I know we're going to take a look back on some of these replays. We are headed back to Zero Dam, back to nighttime. This time, though, they can bring in all normal gear, except the only limitation is that they're going to be using pistols only. So they can bring back all their armor, they can bring back all of their helmets and all of that good stuff, but pistols only. So this will be fun to watch out for as well, especially because we're going to be looking out for some night vision and things to try to change it up here in the nighttime mode. So the next map's going to look very different. But for this one, let's take a quick look back on the replays and kind of what all went down. It was an interesting map, and as expected, I think our teams sprinted at admin early, and it mostly paid off for some of our squads. Ultimately, RNG helps, but also how do you use your operator abilities? How do you use your gadgets correctly? Well-placed nades, obviously being the name of the game for some of these teams. Unfortunately, down goes Gingy and co. Get wiped on the outside by a sonic trap, and so they're going to be able to clean up that team. And then this team also in a bit of trouble as Pokey by himself was cleaned up, so then it was a 3v2. And so Sammy, Budsy, Nowhere got the better of their opponent. They're going to see some value on the leaderboard. And this fight was wild. Nobody could see anything. But a couple Sanivas just stalled the fight out until Sammy could come in and clean up. But look at this RNG. Obviously, great loot getting out. They stack him with everything they've got. A key card on Zero Dam Normal. Nice play. And an LEDX. Well played. And then the final team fight, 3v3 for the extraction, which, of course, we know Gorilla and Co. won. Taylor.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely do. Good win for them. They end up extracting. Now the question is, well, what did the scores look like at the end? What was everybody able to accumulate, and were the teams sitting at 0 able to get any points going into map number 4? Well, Team Bravo will have the highest score, but just barely over Team Charlie, Marksman, Gorilla, and Wildman at 3.36. But, you know, we question how much did Mendo, Vivid, and Chap get? Well, 3.3 million is very, very good. A large majority of that coming from the key card that Chap was able to acquire within the first 9 minutes and then get the extraction. So he gets out with the bulk of the points. That'll put them around, I believe, around 19 or so million, just under the 20 million mark. Meanwhile, Marksman, Gorilla, Wildman should be pretty comfortably in second place. But nice to see, you know, Team Echo getting away with some points. They're first. 200,000, so they no longer sit at 0, but a long way to go before they catch up to Alpha at 7.5 million. Of course, Bravo at 12, and then Charlie at 19 million. So going into the final game, map number 4, Goj. Any potential shakeups, or do we think the points are a bit out of reach for even second or third place to jump up?
It's never out of reach. I think the big thing to remember is that everybody can bring back in crazy strong loadouts for the most part. You're going to be seeing about a 1 to 1.5 mil dip per kit compared to Space City because all primaries are out of the equation. You can't use any weapons besides pistols. Now, I will say some of the pistols people are bringing in are going to be worth quite a ton, but overall, you're still seeing quite a bit of loot value on bodies. So if you're a team like Team Delta who's at 0, you can still win this whole thing with a 20 million extract if you're able to wipe everybody else in the lobby. You need to get very active, you need to get very aggressive, and risk it all because you have absolutely nothing to lose. Same thing for Team Echo, have nothing to lose. Even Team Alpha, 12 million without wiping most of the teams is going to be quite difficult. The exception to that rule, of course, is that if you're able to third party and just play cleanup and get all of the loot from those boxes, could see yourself up to the top. And then, of course, that second column, the 150k extra on Team Charlie's score sheet there, that's from that rocket extract extra mission that we had during Space City. If you're able to extract with 2 million or more, taking the rocket extract, it's 150k extra on top. But notably with Team Charlie, yes, they have the most loot. They also have the most kills by over double anybody else on the map. They're dominating right now, but they got to keep the pedal to the metal. They got to keep the gas on that car and keep driving to the finish line because anything can happen in this final map. If they get wiped early, this leaderboard could be blown wide open, Taylor.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's final map, and a lot of times in tournaments that we commentate, whether it's esports, fun tournaments like this, right? It's final map, especially for the teams that are towards the bottom of the leaderboard who kind of feel like, okay, well, we're kind of down and out. Now they're going into it. They're having fun. They quite literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Do they challenge the top dogs to play spoiler? It doesn't happen every tournament, but it could happen this tournament, and it would be a lot of fun. After all, Hutch was pumped up because he downed Chap, right? Does he want to go at it once again and try and down him and maybe even get the full finish this time around? That's always a possibility, but one thing is for certain, it's going to be fun. You mentioned NVGs, bringing those into the game, and turning up your brightness is quite literally an NVG. Okay, I saw somebody say that in chat. I'll give them credit. I'm not smart enough to come up with that myself, but I like it. That is quite literally a strategy that we literally saw from the teams out there, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So your strat going into it, does it differ from Knives, right? Are you more so still playing into the RNG role, or what are you going for?
I think you're going to see a small shift in terms of operators on the map. We saw more stingers on that map than we had in the past because people weren't able to bring in meds. They weren't able to bring in anything. And so stingers obviously incredibly valuable to keep yourself on your feet, not only nearly full health, but also that kind of painkiller-esque style of kind of debuffing yourself or buffing yourself over a debuff like a broken arm. In this one, though, information is going to be key. And so absolutely, I'm looking at potential thermal scopes or otherwise on your pistols just to get some extra visibility. Sure, we might play around with our brightness. We're also going to have a ton of different equipment that's going to help us with that. You've got different helmets you can use here. I mean, everything's at your disposal yet again, like it was in Space City. So A, the kits are going to be extremely valuable. B, operator choices are going to go back to what I would call quote unquote more close to meta. Yes, there's some nuances inside the night mode, but you're going to see more similar to what we saw in Space City. And then C, I'm excited to see what the pistol loadouts people decide to bring in. Obviously, the kind of tried and true classic when you watched earlier in the competition, if you saw their pistol slots, most of them brought in revolvers because you can kit them out with a crazy amount of attachments, which helps your overall loot value. And also is quite, a great strong weapon, but I'm expecting to see some full auto pistols, G13 or otherwise, a great option. It'll be fun to see what these players kind of cook up and what they decide to use, because the pistol meta, if you will, is maybe a bit different when it's the only weapon you can bring in. It'll be fun to see what these players are cooking up in the lobby right now, and so we're gonna have to wait on them to kind of finish their cooking and see if it's a 5-star meal or if it's something a little bit less than that, Taylor.
All I know is Burnt Peanut, man. Come on, Burnt Peanut. Get active. Get aggro, baby. That's my guy. Go for it. Love him. Love him to death. I want to see his perspective. I really do. Off the rip. I want to see this team tear it up. Hutch throwing fastballs out there, baby. Come on. Let's get it. It's the final game. The final chance to dance. The final chance to make something happen. Get up in top 3. Hey, it's about that time, and I'm ready to get it going. Let's make a dime. Why am I rhyming so much? This is the old man coming out. I'm telling you, I'm getting old. It's getting weird. Weird, man, the way the brain works. But it's, sorry, having an existential crisis just right there for no reason at all. Game's about to get started, though, and it's going to be a fun one. Shakeups. Chat, let us know. Do we see any shakeups? Because there's a bit of a gap from first to second and definitely to third place. So I'm thinking second and third maybe have a chance to, shake things up a bit, but I don't know if Vivid and his crew can be caught because they just have such a tremendous lead. They're looking to break 20 million, which, by the way, goes coming into this, did you have an expectation on the total score across 4 maps? Was there a number, a magic number you thought that would be reached? Because 20 million for me seems relatively high.
Yeah, no, I think this is pretty similar to what we've seen in the past. This is pretty similar to what we saw during esports and some other events we've done with in terms of overall scope of what they're able to do. Similar rule sets, similar score lines for the most part. The exception to that rule, of course, our last map that we just saw, where max you're coming out with is around 4 million or so because it was knives only. So yeah, I'm thinking our winner likely is going to be around the neighborhood of 25 million was what I was expecting. I did also expect this to be a very dramatic leaderboard where the top and the bottom are basically exact opposites, because that's the way these competitions work. I don't care if you've played Delta Force every single day since it's launched or if you're brand new to the game. Anybody technically could have won this, but the loser of this competition is going to be near zero because of how deadly and punishing our rule set is right now. In a good way, it kind of encourages some really, really sweaty fights, which is what we want to see in operations. And if you get wiped, you're basically getting out with nothing. You could get a couple kills, 600k, 1.2 mil, whatever your overall final score will be. is what it is. But the top teams, because these kits are so valuable, are going to extract, if they can get out of the map, going to extract with upwards of 10 million plus. So I expected this this leaderboard to look pretty similar to where it's at right now. And it could get even more dramatic, pending how the team that's been dominating all day today, Team Charlie, Chap, Mendo, Vivid, they've been crushing it as expected, but they gotta finish the deal. The job's not done yet.
Job's not done, but nearly there. Nearly there. I'm happy to see those three competing together. Chap and Vivid especially, been watching them for the longest time. Great competitors. Esports is in their blood at this point, and they just play so very, very well. I think they've been at the top echelon of esports since oh gosh, it's going way back, 2019, I think. 2019, maybe even before. Look, 6 years is a long time when it comes to esports. Okay, it's a long time. That's half of my career after all. So nice to see them competing. And with Delta Force growing as it is, and I know you leading a large a portion of that initiative along with the team. Who knows? Maybe they have a future in Delta Force esports, because who knows how far, and who knows the offset, PC versus mobile, which you got two outlets now, which is, I was in bed this morning. Nobody needs to know that, but I was, and I was just playing Delta Force on my phone. I mean, come on, how cool is that? And the way that it's I've been telling everybody, I said, go download it. Anybody that I see, I'm like, download Delta Force mobile, get involved, play, because it's pretty great, Ghosh.
Yeah, it is. I think hopefully you can sleep in a bed. If not, talk to me. I'll help you out a little bit.
Got me? Okay.
But yeah, let's go ahead and remind everybody, go download Delta Force right now. Taylor already set it up. If you haven't checked out mobile, you really need to. It is so dang cool. It's like PC level graphics, and you can run it on just about any device you can get your hands on. Again, I literally watched gameplay on an iPhone 6. It's unbelievable. Very well done from the team to optimize the game. It's very, very clean. Go check it out. Here's a quick look at the QR codes to make it very easy for you. If you're a fan of Android devices, congrats. I've got a QR code for you here in the Google Play Store. And if you're an iPhone aficionado or otherwise iPad, etc., in the Apple ecosystem, go head over to the Apple App Store here on the iOS store to get your hands on the game as soon as possible. It's worth it. It's worth doing. It's cross progression as well, because, well, what a way to level up your weapons, playing some Warfare on your coffee break, then be able to log back on your PC and see all of that progression carried over. Just make sure your accounts are linked. It's pretty simple. You'll be able to follow the instructions in game to do that. There's a ton of rewards as well just for signing into the game. I want to say we even have a graphic for that. It's like 130 some odd in-game rewards just for logging in and being there for the in-game events. Here's a quick look at it. Let's see how close I was to the number. 150 weapon and 21 vehicle appearances. I was close, folks.
For free?
Even more than I said. All for free just by playing the game. Go get your hands on it, all right? I'm telling you, it is worth it. Taylor may be playing in bed when he wakes up in the morning. I'm playing on my coffee breaks. I'm playing between games. You can't even see me right now. I'm playing while I'm talking, just to make sure I get all the reps that I can. There's a lot of great mobile content creators out there as well, Taylor, that have been trying out this game. Don't want to call any out specifically besides my boy Winsanity. That dude's been grinding the game. It's been fun to watch all the content creators get their hands on it and see what they're able to do with it. Now, a lot of talking here about Delta Force, because that's why we're here. We're having a blast on broadcast. This is like our 9th or 10th broadcast in the last couple weeks. But Taylor,
crazy.
One map away from this event being done, the Burst or Break Operation Challenge, as it were. Our streamers loading into the game as we speak. Any final words of wisdom, a motivating phrase before we hop into our last map of the day, Taylor?
Motivating phrase, man. What do we even say? Okay. So when you go to a certain restaurant and you get a biscuit, that biscuit is very dry and you have to have water in order to drink it. But the thing about that biscuit is you have to risk it in order to get it. So what am I saying? For the last map, you gotta risk it for the biscuit. Okay? Remember that. Understand that statement. Write it down and really push in life and go as far as you can. For that biscuit, okay? Risk it for the biscuit, Coach.
I've heard the risk it for the biscuit. I've never heard it set up like that in my life. But hydrate or dehydrate, I guess. You gotta have some water on hand. That's my word of advice. No, my actual word of advice is I think if you're Chat Mindo Vivid, as much as you want to play defense right now, the best defense is good offense. So let's see if they get really aggressive here in the very beginning of the game. We are dropping straight in. Time to play our last map of the day. Thank you for your patience. Here we go. And it does look like we got a little bit more visibility this time around with the builds these players have decided to pick up. Obviously, a helmet choice, dramatic change.
A team that spawned there.
Helmet choice, dramatic change. Oh, and admin getting a little bit dicey and spicy. Last game, admin was controlled by Gorilla and his crew. This time around, Vivid is going to challenge, understanding how much potential loot is up there. And we have literally our top three, two of our top three teams potentially about to cannibalize each other in administration. So, I mean, you want to talk about risking it for the biscuit. This is it. A big win. And very well, if Vivid and crew can win this fight, that could very well secure a potential first place off of this fight alone.
Yeah, and again, here's a quick look at the kits they're bringing in. This is what I was talking about. Some people even bringing in, we saw this in the esports side of things as well, bringing in an extra full armor piece, not just repair kits, because being able to swap armor mid-fight with just a couple clicks of a button could change a fight completely, of you not actually having to sit there and wait for the repair to finish. So something to keep an eye out for as well. But that also means that if you do get wiped, well, we're going to have a problem because you're giving away a crazy amount of loot value. But already teams looting up, trying to figure out what they can find. As it does look like Budsy took down Saeed. So that's actually a huge win for this squad. Decent amount of loot. Obviously, usually has LMG with quite a bit of purple ammo, so tier 4 ammo is going to go pretty far in terms of just overall value. Obviously a vest as well, but be curious to see how much of that they're able to pick up and how much value it adds to their inventory. But nice start for the squad.
I mean, if it's pains and
Great start indeed. Good way to start the final map of the day. And already upgrading from the pistol. Definitely early on.
I mean, if it's pains
and the third team has joined into the mix, so marksman. So you got, we have the top three teams, Goj, all in admin, ready to fight for first place. That's what's at risk here, and you better believe one team is at least getting wiped here. Another one might escape, but with all three of them here, they are 100% fighting till the death.
Yeah, a couple small nuanced things that we didn't talk about right before this map. Obviously, Mindo Chap, Vivid, great players, they're great strategists. One of the things they did is they brought in tier 5 ammo for some of the weapons you would find on the map. So if you saw that, he brought in tier 5 ammo for 45, which is what's used on the AK. So he's going to be able to use that kind of ground loot AK with tier 5 ammo for it actually to be deadly against some of these other players. It's a really smart strategy from that team. His pistol, I didn't see exactly which pistol he brought in. It might also be using 45. But I believe he brought in a stack of 45 just for this very purpose.
That's fucking bad.
It's pretty smart. I didn't even think about that.
There's 2 weapon case spawns, though, right?
Yeah. Grab this.
Quite literally, they are some of the best out there, for sure.
Kill this guy back here. Don't shoot it. Don't shoot it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't shoot. Stay quiet. Conserve ammo.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen in some of the broadcasts in the past that you guys have, you and Tiff have casted.
Yeah. I mean, conserving ammo is definitely valuable, but also just not giving away your position. You're right. Marksman Sammy Sucks about to get involved. Sounds like, according to chat and some of our players on the screen, they're looking for a 5.56 gun because maybe they brought in 5.56 stack of ammo. Really smart from all of these players. That's why they are on the map and we are up here. We thought about just about every strategy besides that one.
That's right.
Respect.
Oh, I love that overhead. These three teams, literally 1, 2, and 3, right before you. Never mind that team on the top right, but they'll eventually get Mixie. And Chap, Vivid, and Mindo might be out of here.
Yeah, I think they're gonna wrap to a different fight position. I don't really love taking that fight with the team inside of admin.
Go and extract.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's a pretty good strategy from this team. Yet again, they said, hey, let's go fight a team that we think we can beat, basically what they're calling a noob team, which again, nobody's necessarily noob. There's just a couple like mega giga sweat squads that are going to be harder to fight. In theory, on paper.
There's a team behind us.
And if we wipe them, they've got good enough loot that we get out and we just kind of hold our position at the top of the leaderboard. Don't want to take any major risks.
Okay.
So I assume that they go to Visitor? Challenge the team that was over on the Visitor side?
Yeah, possibly.
bad strat.
Someone looted that safe.
Yeah, if I'm in first place, I definitely don't want to fight
Wait, guys.
one of the other top 3 teams. Here's Hutch.
Towards the money.
Hutch and crew in the compound that Vivid and Mindo were locking down during the knife round earlier in map number 3. They were here for the longest time, holding back Nowhere and his crew. And this time around, they look to potentially hold back Chap, Vivid, and Mindo. They're very, very close. So this is round 2. Last map, these two teams fought it out. Hutch was pumped because he downed Chap. This time around, he has an opportunity to do it again and maybe even win. But this is the team that Chap, Vivid, and Mindo wanted to fight. So they're going full send. They view Hutch and his crew as a quote-unquote weaker team, right? So this is a team that they want to engage in, get loot, and then they want to extract, get out of there, and then win the whole tournament.
One well-placed frag could open it up the doors a little bit. Chap trying to play the entry fragger on the far right-hand side. His teammates playing left. Pick up a flank here, play distraction. Nice trade here. Unfortunately, Mindo, 1, 2, 3, full team wipe. No problem at all. Well executed. Great flank to draw a bit of distraction, and then you just straight up win the fight.
No way I put Hutch on the floor.
With some solid gear.
Snipers kept shooting at someone that's not.
A little bit of trash talk and a lot of skill. There's a reason this team's at the top of the leaderboard. Well done.
I missed the trash talk. What did he say?
Oh, right stairs.
If you could repeat it.
Yeah, I heard him. He has to heal.
Yeah, he basically said, I can't believe I put Hutch down 2 games in a row, and well... At least Hutch got a little bit of revenge in last map.
He did. He got a little bit of revenge there. But we knew that was a possibility at the beginning. I asked you, were there teams that might get a bit aggro, and Vivid wasn't a conversation. Vivid, Chap, and Mindo getting aggro, pushing up, and feeling confident in their play style, pushing a team that maybe isn't as well-versed when it comes to Delta Force competitive. But a great day watching Burt Peanut and his crew. Definitely had a fun time, obviously with Hutch and Gingy. I think they played very well. I was excited to see them on the map, and they were getting a bit dicey, not scared to engage, and again, just a pleasure to watch them throughout the 4 maps.
And here's a look at fight that is pending. Everybody jockeying for position. As a reminder, too, it's top 3 getting paid out today with some rewards in game, from Mandel bricks to keys to Delta tickets. But it's only first place that's going to walk away with those ROG monitors, 250 hertz, 27 inches. Absolute gas.
Love it.
But, another fun kind of interesting point is if you're bringing in a pistol that can hold a ton of attachments, and then take some of those attachments and put them on weapons you find in game. I mean, my goodness, Nowhere found a PKM in game, and now is going to be ripping heads. If anybody watched NA Operations or just have played a decent amount of Delta Force recently, you know that PKM absolutely shreds.
Straight through that door, just get your head shredded off.
I have a dumb
Hey,
idea.
they came up, jump up again.
Okay.
Oh, no way.
Careful,
Infinite line of sight.
I think he's on Balk still.
Yeah, he is. Just holding window.
Yeah, I think he was on that metal, AC unit.
Come back this way. We're gonna have to get up.
You could feel the tension and the pressure of this moment of this fight. Top 3 teams landed admin.
He's peeking down.
Or at least spawned up an admin.
On Balk window, yeah.
And I believe that's the PK you were talking about, the taping down the doorway.
Jump shot him.
Jump shot? No way.
Dude, that actually hit.
Yo, this would be the nastiest.
Yeah, he's holding corner on there. I have to come back down.
I can smoke that off, and we can
respect the effort, though.
Yeah. Go ahead and smoke it off. We'll push the back.
You ready to smoke now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go in the front.
Throwing smoke grenade.
Smoked it.
Yeah, this is scary. If you get held on a peak by PKM, blink wrong and your body's gonzo.
They're 90. Hit with the nade. Hit with nade.
They're all on this side, bros.
Switching up.
Safe right now.
Knocked one.
Nice, I need to heal.
Wild man's down.
Coming.
Chance for Sammy Budsy. Nowhere to win this fight that's been stalemated since the very start. A chance to potentially secure second place and even go for first, depending if they can hunt down Chap and Co. a little bit later. But they'll think about that after. Right now, the priority is this engagement. They managed to back away enough at least to get their health back up to 100. So they can pursue a fight one more time. Up close, though, we switch away, and I believe Nowhere gets into the fight, and he does. He gets dropped. And now Sammy and Budsy have to recover in this moment, stick together. I think they got the trade they did, so Marksman's also gone. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ghost, this is going to be a 2v2. Gorilla also out of the way. And I think one more remains.
I think that ended up, I think they traded out one revive there, so it actually was a cleanup on Gorilla there. It said wipe out at the bottom, and so I believe that's a full team wipe, a well-executed team wipe for this squad. This is going to be a huge value add for them. Reminder, you start looking at some of those scores that we saw earlier. The two teams that just fought are the two teams jockeying between 2nd and 3rd place. So a wipe here from Sammy's team could put them in position to even take a look at the team at the top, pending what Chap, Mindo, and co have done after wiping Peanut Squad. This is going to be interesting.
So just to confirm, we'll actually take a look. So yeah, they win the fight. They win the fight and should get them close to 2nd place. Were they already in 2nd place, or were they in 3rd going into this last game? Do you remember?
Yeah, I believe Sammy's squad was in 3rd, right? Because we had Gorilla's team. Remember, Sammy was able to, Sammy was able to sneak out. They were just a little bit behind that Gorilla squad,
right,
on our overall leaderboard, and quite a bit behind the team at the top. So the fact that they were able to get that win on the team in 2nd, is going to put them within striking distance at 1st. The problem is, you saw where Chap and Mindo and co are. They're actually probably just going to leave. You heard their strategy. We want to wipe a team and then get out, just so that we don't risk anybody catching us.
So 4 million is the magic number. A little over 4 million then for Nowhere, Sammy, and Budsy. They've got 2nd place out of the way. They're still going to be in 3rd, but if they can get at least 4 million, they can jump up to 2nd. They'll need a lot more to get up to 1st place, but they're throwing a Hail Mary. You never know what loot that you can gain or find, and the extraction, though, this might do it. This might be all she wrote. Vivid, Mindo, Chap getting out, and they successfully do. And that was their game plan at the start. Remember, they said they wanted to challenge what they call a weaker team. They do so by taking out Burnt Peanuts, Gingy, and Hutch, and then their plan afterwards was then to extract. They knew they were in a great spot in 1st place with 19 million before this extraction. So well played from that trio. They get out with 5.6.
That's 5.6 on Chap alone, too. So they likely got out. This is what I expected. You wipe one big team, they've got a crazy amount of loot on them. You're going to get out with nearing, 10 million plus as a trio, if not closing in on 15 mil. And so that trio is in position to win it all. Now, the only thing that could happen is the team on your screen right now, they just wiped the full squad, so they're going to have similar value, pending the way they kind of organize their backpacks, etc., right? If they're able to wipe Sacriel's team, that's over there, I believe, in Substation right now, and get 2 full team wipes, it is still possible they could get close to catching the team at the top. This tournament is not over. We'll just see what they do. These are the only 2 teams left on the map, obviously, so it'll be interesting.
That would be crazy, but possible. We're here for it. We're here for the comeback. Chat, let us know. Comeback season? Or is this thing done with? What are you thinking? We all like a good comeback, and I want to see it happen.
Done what I just did. Damn.
I definitely do. But, you can't discredit Nowhere and his crew have quite literally done everything they possibly can to put themselves in a 2nd or 1st place position to jump up from 3rd. Everything they've done in Game 4 has been absolutely correct.
Drop the bag on the ground, by the way, brother.
Right here.
Yeah, that's something I'm grabbing.
2.2.
I mean, they should get out of here with 10 mil, but
actually,
the problem is if they don't engage with Deadly Slob and co,
at 3.3,
they're not going to catch the team at the top. They have to take that fight.
They just go in.
But it's like 10 mil is still good for 2nd, though, and that's a great result. Obviously, you want first. You want first, but it's like they're at least get 2nd. But I agree, go for gold at this point. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing to keep in mind, Dam Extract has been pulled. It's got about 2 minutes on the clock, and this team knows it.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody can see that. So they're going to rush for this to potentially make a play. I mean, again, we told everybody at home, like, this team is good, and they can get a wipe.
Quiet round.
And get a massive value. They could jump up into the money here, technically.
They could jump into 3rd, yeah. They could. If you're saying 10 million, they can jump up to 3rd.
They kind of got to get a move on, though. I mean, look at that timer. Sammy and co are going to get out on that timer. I can't imagine they stay. really not a reason to. They know they wiped the team ahead of them on the leaderboard. And they have the technical power position.
Yeah.
I don't think so. If it's turning, I think it's still going. It's not been looted, right?
What was that do?
It shoots out like some rare stuff.
And he's right. Deadly knows it. You can find some pretty good loot actually in the cement plant, or the cement trucks rather. Cement plant's fine, but the cement trucks actually go crazy. I've got a military explosive a couple times from there. And here's the push. All right, so you can see Sammy's kind of playing inside of admin for this fight, whereas Budsy and Noah are on the outside peeking the car, which is a kind of a classic hold, looking at the dam extract. They might not take it. They might. It looks like Sammy is not going to be there in time. He might not take this dam extract. He might just play for the kills. They couldn't have stacked all of their loot on one or even two players. Like, they needed to maximize all three of their backpacks. So they might be playing more aggressive than I give them credit for.
I got range.
Might be. I hope so anyways. Yeah, they're getting close. This is definitely setting up for an attack, and Sammy's going to be the tip of the spear, the first one out to at least call. 40-second controls down. I mean, unless he's just guarding for the extraction point, it's always a possibility too. But Sacriel also moving up. I really think we're about to see a 3v3.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh,
that's the next round.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta go. If you're gonna take the high ground, it's gonna be this one. But you're about to run straight into the team, and they're gonna hear you sprinting up right now. Good luck.
Oh, I think there's one. Oh, no,
wow,
they're gone.
They're getting out.
They're gone.
This is such a bummer for Sacriel's team. They had such a good opportunity to take this fight. They just came up here a hair too slow. And I don't blame them. Like, if you just go sprinting up here as fast as humanly possible, I mean, you're going to get ripped. So, unfortunately, it's going to be Sacriel's team last alive on the map with the only thing that they can do is get some good RNG.
Yeah.
They left?
Oh, no, they're still looking. Yeah. Gone.
Oh.
Turns the corner just a little bit too late.
The big safe thing, and then come through that vent up there, and then we open the extract for them. I didn't know what it did. It just was like a fuse box. I was like, oh, what's this? And just clicked go.
Oh, bummer. Sacriel actually pulled the substation lever, which opened the dam.
Most quiet map, I would say, out of all the three.
We do have an extract to our left if we do want to just get out with the money we've got. See if we can get fourth place.
To be honest, I do. Sadly, I do have some IRL commitments that.
Yep.
I have.
Yeah, looking like they're gonna get out of the map here. I think this extract you have to be under a certain weight limit. I don't know that Sacriel will be able to. He might be able to drop some stuff. As a reminder, anything you brought in, you can leave it behind. It doesn't matter. Loot value only matters for what you're taking out. That's not yours. So they can definitely get out of the low weight extract, if you will. Great effort from this team, though. I really liked what I saw from them. They pushed a hard fight, and unfortunately, because they pulled the lever in substation, Sammy Sucks said, well, we got a team wipe. Yeah, we'll take this. Thank you very much. And Sacriel just a bit of dismay of like, oh, I didn't know exactly where that was, and it was just too far for them to get to in time without just totally giving away their lives.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but a good effort nonetheless. If they're just there a couple of seconds earlier, maybe, just maybe, they're able to fight and stop them from extracting, but for now, they're just going to go and extract themselves. But a good tournament, great watching them. It really was. All the teams, shout out to all the teams that competed today. So fun to watch the two regular maps of operation and then the fun, right? Knife and then pistol here on night mode. Always a good time. Delta Force did such a great job with the game, and I think everybody, for the most part, not even for the most part, everybody did. They kept like a pretty positive vibe. Just happy to be here and compete.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching every team. Everybody had a slightly different strategy based on what they preferred. I thought Space City was probably the craziest gameplay, kind of as expected. Some really fun team fights in there. I really enjoyed the fight with Hutch and Gingy. Up on the far right-hand side of the Central Command, fighting Mindo, Chap, and Co. for like 15 minutes, it felt like. That was such a fun fight to watch because Chap's team had to kind of pay attention to the other side of the map as well, and they were kind of constantly getting pinched, but they were in the power position. I don't know. Overall, just some really good content across the board and some great competition, and I think this team was trying to figure out, like, hey, could we pick up some scraps on the way out to potentially just get some value on the day? They're kind of wondering if they might be the last team on the map with 10 minutes on the clock, and they certainly could spend most of the time on the map looting up something. But and yeah, maybe they could find some of the down bodies and pick up some of the crap, because you got to remember, technically, Deadly's right. If they find where Sammy Sucks or even Mindo and co dropped all of their loot, that's like another couple million on the ground somewhere. You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
Because they had to swap out to maximize their loot value. So it's actually a decent strategy, but I don't know if they're going to have time to try to figure that out, given they didn't really see where the fight was happening.
No, don't drop it. We got an extra.
It's true. Any amount of loot is going to help for sure. They can find, but I think for them, they're just going to scour any boxes.
I'm kind of
take down any NPCs they can, just so they can get really whatever random RNG loot. They got 9 minutes to do it. They've got plenty of time to scour about.
Unless they're camping the extraction, which is totally possible.
Wait, did they still
Wouldn't
think
be the
there's a
first
team?
time. Oh, I think the idea is here, we got to be careful. Like, just in case, if there's a team, they're probably camping extraction. And I'm going to be honest, it literally happened last game. So not a bad thought process from this team. They're going to take their sweet time, but eventually take this visitor's extraction. Well done from the squad to get out. But
any value?
Hey, maximize your loot value. Try to jump up the leaderboard a bit. I don't think they're going to get quite as lucky in some of the RNG comparatively. Slowly but surely just clearing their corners and being like, you know what? I do think we are last alive.
So I'm just going to I'm going to tear through this.
Cool. I can't carry anymore.
Then at this point, oh, shots right outside my door.
Dude, I've been there so many times. I'm playing with randoms, and they just start like full clip an AI, and I'm like, what is happening out there? It's utter chaos. In-game comm mics are like, oh no, AI, and everything's fine. I'm like, okay, yeah, please don't give me heart palpitations while I'm in game, even though my heart rate already sits crazy high.
Knowing you, yeah, probably.
And hey, not bad actually. They actually picked up like 800K between the two, and then pending what Deadly's able to get out, I think they're gonna probably be around somewhere around 1 million on the extract. So not a bad game for them. I think a little bit frustrated that they weren't able to get into the action fast enough.
Yeah.
But even still, they're gonna throw some points on the board and jump up at the very least to 5th if they can't catch 4th.
Well, they finished strong. That was their strongest game of the day of the 4 games. So you got to give them credit where credit is due. Well done. They fought till the very end. And like you said, things might have been very different if they get to the extraction point right before nowhere they were extracting out. And they missed it by literally, like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. They were so very close. If that fight happens, do we have a different story? Do we see a different 2nd or 3rd place finisher? Well, maybe so. But at least how it unfolded, Nowhere and his crew, they get out. And 1st, 2nd, and 3rd should absolutely be solidified. But a great day. It really was. Delta Force continues to impress me. They're doing a lot of wonderful things. And I always enjoy, esports aspect is great to watch. But it's always fun to watch the streamers as well. Coming from various different games, playing some Delta Force themselves, learning the game, figuring it out, and just seeing why it's a good game and why they should be here.
That's right. Well, let's take a quick look back on the replays from that one. It was a fun map. It was a bit different. It was fun to see these players kind of protect their positions on the leaderboards. But of course, as per the usual with Zero Dam, a fight at admin is a fight we want to watch. And of course, we also saw this team. They had one strategy in mind: kill a team on the outskirts of the map and then get out as fast as possible. Mindo, Chat, Vivid, gonna be at the top of the leaderboard most likely because of that. But this fight was critical for the fight for 2nd and 3rd. And it does look like, of course, that Sammy Sucks, Budsy, and Nowhere win that fight, and then are able to extract in the final couple seconds, all thanks to Sacriel. At least give him a salute, gentlemen. He opened up the damn extract for you nice and easy from Substation, and you were able to get out because of it. And then finally, our final team on the map, we're able to loot up a bit, get out with a little bit over 1 million, and at least add some points to the leaderboard. So well done to all of our teams today. Great replay from the last map, and a fun one to watch. 4 maps done and dusted. And as we are doing some math behind the scenes, Taylor, any final words here before we get to the scores for the broadcast? It was a great day of operations.
It was. I love it. First time casting over operations, by the way. So a lot of fun to see how of a much different pacing from the warfare that I'm used to doing with you, right? So it's nice to see the teams. And I really do enjoy doing the listen-ins during the operation, especially maps 1 and map 2, and hearing the thought process behind these great players and how they want to play it, whether it's, camp it out because they already are satisfied with the loot, wait for a third party, or get aggressive. Even that map 1, that Vivid, Chap, and Mindo, they end up only getting 600,000, let alone we didn't know how the rest of the games were going to end. They end up obviously tearing it up, but that 600,000 was very low. Had the potential to be a much higher scoring game, but you can see the thought process and then see the thought process from map 1 executed in map 2, where they ended up dominating and getting out with a ton of points. Or Sammy's quick extraction. Operations is fun, had a blast, can't wait to see more of it.
Well, I think my favorite kill of the day was probably Sammy's in Space City. That flick with the sniper was gross. That made me sick. And I'm really impressed with all of our teams today. Of course, you're right. Some of the Giga Sweats came out on top most likely, but we're doing some math behind the scenes to make sure all those scores are correct, because I'd love to take one more quick look at the pricing before we wrap up today and see what these teams are playing for. As a reminder, the team at the top winning a ROG 240 hertz monitor, 4K resolution, 27 inches. Talk about a great day in the office, all winning a monitor if you get the top spot. And then, of course, that 10,000 Delta tickets going to be transferred over in first and second place, earning those. And everybody, if you make it to the top 3, are earning 10 Mandel bricks and 10 quantum keys to open said Mandel bricks. So a lot of in-game rewards. And then third place, picking up that Black Sea Gleam bundle, which I gotta say, that thing is sick. I love that Chat, Mindo, and Co. were already running the Sea Gleam bundle as well. They had the access already. They were like, we're not playing for third, coach. All right, I need you to know that. And I was like, all right, fair enough, guys. Well done. Being at the top, nearby first or second, most likely first, and already got that bundle in hand. So fun to see all of our teams sweat it out. A little bit of a showcase match here on main stage. Delta Force Burst or Break Operation Challenge. We saw a lot of both. I think our Burst Fest is going on right now in game, and a lot of breaking of brains, maybe monitors on some of the fights. Hopefully not, unless you're getting first and getting a free one. But overall, a great day in the office. So you're right, some really cool moments. And I think there is a fun replay package at the end of the broadcast too that you're going to want to pay attention to, because there really were some fun team fights. Again, as we're waiting on this, I also think back on, I think you mentioned it as well, Sammy doing a great job sneaking past a full team of 3 to get out in Space City. That's gotta be a highlight. Smoke and run. But our scores are in, Taylor. Let's take a look at it, see who our top teams are. I think we know, but our mathematicians behind the scenes have solidified everything, and because of it, it is Team Charlie at the top. Mindo, Chap, and Vivid in this map, getting out with 14.4 mil. This is just from this game, and it was a sizable margin. So
that's just from game 4?
Just from game 4, just from this map.
Nuts.
They're able to drop 14.4, and that's just the nature of a full wipe and a full exchanging of gear, not worried about using any of your own gear, and then just getting out. 3 kills plus all of their loot, 14.4 mil. Still saw a pretty solid game here from Sammy Meadows and Co. Over 4 million in total, a couple kills. Great job. And then even Team Echo, they actually pulled more than I thought. Pokelaws had 1.45 mil, so almost a 3 mil extract from them without a single fight. That's actually pretty impressive stuff.
Very, very impressive. Geez, 14 million is crazy. But shout out to Genji, Bird Peanuts, and Hutch. Not scared to get dicey, get out there and fight against the top dogs of Mindo, Chap, and Vivid. Overall, what are we looking like? Well, I think Mindo, Chap, and Vivid ended up dominating the day. And there they are, the winners of the Delta Force Burst or Break Operation Challenge by a long shot. They go into map 4 with, I believe, around 19 million. They finish game 4 with 14 million, and exceeding even your best guesses, right? In terms of how many points would be gathered today, Goes. You were thinking 25, and I think we hit around 30, 33, 34.
But let's take a look at the overall leaderboard, because you're right. There was a massive margin, and as expected, the team at the top dominated. I called them out at the top of the broadcast. They qualified for Operations Esports, and they proved that they're one of the best teams here. 33.4 million overall. A ridiculous stat line. Very well executed. Great strategies, a ton of kills, and a crazy amount of loot. Not only were they able to get crazy amount of loot from the people they killed, but they also pulled some crazy RNG, pulling a key card in Zero Dam on a knife-only map. Very fun to watch that top team dominate. But of course, big shout out to Team Bravo, who was able to sneak in and continue to maintain position there in second overall, just by a little bit under a million. So here's a look at them. Even with that fight and that win in admin, unfortunately, our third place team just barely missing out on the 10,000 Delta tickets is going to be Sammy Meadows, Budsy, and Nowhere. But still, congrats to you guys. If you don't have the Seedling bundle already, you will all get one, plus 10 mana bricks, 10 quantum keys. Then, of course, Marksman, Gorilla, Wildman, able to barely hold on to second, but get it nonetheless, winning 10,000 Delta tickets plus the mana bricks and keys. And then finally, of course, team at the top by a massive margin, Mendo, Chat, Vivid, congratulations. You've all won a monitor from ROG, 27 inches, 4K resolution, 240 hertz. Come on. What a way to get involved and get some more prizes playing in more Delta Force competitions. Of course, our admins behind the scenes are going to 100% solidify all those scores and any final results they'll be able to post later in the Discord or otherwise. But a great day in the office. Taylor, you've already given me your final thoughts on the competition. Give me a final word or two to close out the broadcast today. I had a blast with you in the booth, brother.
I did too, Ghost. It's always great to be here. Been watching you and Spider Tiff absolutely kill it when it comes to Delta Force esports. Loving what Delta Force is doing, loving what you're doing with the team, and I can't wait to see the future. I really, whether it's the PC version, mobile version, Delta Force is doing a lot of great things, from free skins to new packs coming out. There's a lot to get involved in, and I can't wait to see what this game looks like after a year, because within, I want to say like, what, 3 or 4 short months, maybe not even that, Delta Force has grown tremendously, not only from a community perspective, but also from an infrastructure perspective. The team is working really hard to just constantly improve the game. So can't wait to see the future. Can't wait to be involved in more future broadcasts.
Reflections. I love you so much because you are a verbose and gregarious gentleman. I don't even want to see what type of books you read, because if that's one word, you're reading, scripture. I don't know. You're reading 35,000 words.
That's Dr. Seuss is what I owe it to. I don't know.
I love it. Taylor, we love you in the booth, man. Thanks for popping in. I'm sure we'll see you in future broadcasts. Folks at home, what a day in the office, what a day in the booth. It was another great Delta Force broadcast, and I want to quickly remind you not only to download Delta Force on all of those platforms. You can get it on Epic Games, Steam, everything in between. Mobile, we've been talking about it all day. Cross progression, get your hands on it, man. It is so dang cool and runs on low-end devices, but also drop a follow on all major socials. Delta Force live all over the place. You got feedback, you got questions, you want to know what's coming up down the line from content, events, and everything in between. Drop a follow. Join the Discord, ask your questions, and stay up to date. Maybe you could be involved in events like this down the line, or more esports in the future. They also have a brand new esports account. You can also go follow that at DF Game Esports over there on Twitter X. Now, folks, I know that was quick, but I gotta close things out here, and I gotta remind you one last time that we couldn't do it without you, the viewer. So thanks for tuning in, and I'm sure we'll see you very soon in a future Delta Force broadcast. Speaking of getting involved, it looks like we are trying to getting involved. It looks like we are trying to.
Okay, so we already have our first engagement going down, and unfortunately it's Hutch. My boy dropping. Okay, so we already have our first engagement going down, and unfortunately it's Hutch. My boy dropping. This was a crew, a trio that we thought might get pushed up on, and that's exactly what's happening. This was a crew, a trio that we thought might get pushed up on, and that's exactly what's happening. But for Burnt Peanuts, my man doesn't go down without a fight, and he's giving it right back to him.